All right, good evening, folks. This is the meeting of the Rutland Town Select Board for Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. We have a full complement of board members here. Kurt Hathaway, Joe DiNardo, Mary Ashcroft, Matt Getty, and Sharon Russell. So let's get started. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Me? No. That's a very difficult anthem to sing. It is. And you wouldn't want to hear me attempt. Okay, so first item on the agenda, the minutes for the January 16th Select Board meeting. This is the one that was up at Rutland Town School.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And I'll vote aye. And Kurt abstained, but just to comment, Kurt was out plowing. That was the day of that very weird snowstorm.
Fabulous.
Hmm?
It was fabulous.
It was
Randall
something, yeah. Okay. Select board member announcements. Does anyone have an announcement? No, okay. Updates from the select board chair. I have, it's like 4 really quick ones. First, the total eclipse of the sun, which has been scheduled for April 8th, will not be a total eclipse in Rutland County, Rutland Town. Therefore, we don't have any celebration or event planned. We're being asked things like that. And emergency management folks have been, and first responders have been advised to be prepared for traffic issues and other things. But I think because we're not in the area, we don't have to worry about it too much. There. So April 8th, mark your calendars for nothing in particular. Okay, number 2, I had a phone call from Representative Paul Clifford asking for details about our Cortina contract, which of course is public record. It seems the governor's office is involved, he's involved with some of the discussions about extending benefits for homeless housing, but they're also talking about restrictions and or cutting back on the amount paid. I said, Paul, you ought to see the contract and some of the things that we put in as extras that should be provided by anyone providing homeless housing. So I sent it up and he was very grateful. Who knows, it could end up in a state contract somewhere. You will see in our packet something from Stitzel Page, bond counsel, on the fire station project. We did approve or asked to approve, and I think we did. If you signed here, I think it was included here. I'm mentioning it because, first of all, it appears that we are approved for the bond for the fire police station. But that we didn't get direct word. It's just from our bond counsel who says he will have a whole packet of information for us for our February 27th meeting. He's going to get the information to us in advance so we can look it over. But if you have any plans not to be at that meeting, we obviously need to make sure we have a quorum so we have enough folks to sign it. Just plenty of advance notice on that one. That's number 3. Number 4, perhaps most of us have heard, but for those who haven't, our former administrative assistant to the select board, Joe Zingali, was seriously injured in an auto accident, and he is hospitalized, and our thoughts and best wishes for a recovery. I'm not sure it's going to be speedy, but it will be. We know Joe's a fighter, and we know he will be recovering, and we just wish him all of the best in his efforts. And those are the four things that I had. So I think we have a guest for a action needed, a board to meet with Joe Anthony, Diamond Run Mall property owner.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Joe
Good
Anthony here.
evening. Thank
in
you for
West-
coming.
Yeah, no worries. Wish I could be there in physically in Vermont, but I'm there in spirit. So quick update. And again, I assume you want us on to give you a quick update. I also have Sydney, my executive assistant, and then Mike, who does day-to-day leasing and tends to the property as needed during this kind of redevelopment phase. So first, we have made significant progress. Unfortunately, and I talked to the retailer who are our lead anchor. They've asked me for this meeting not to disclose it. We did about 6 different iterations of a site plan. I think we're finally to the final that hopefully we'll be in position to share within the next month or so. But we have a big ICSC in New York City every year in December. That's where we kind of finalized everything. But again, it's a household name. It's about 180,000 square foot user. But again, at this point, they've asked me not to make it public. Hopefully soon enough it will. We are in advanced discussions also with 2 hoteliers, one to do a limited service and a extended stay. We have some plans to do some residential on the site, similar to what was done in South Burlington. Some of the same architects, same people will be involved in that. And then, obviously we have, a host of smaller retailers also. But again, that's I wish I could tell you who it is and kind of move this forward, but again, I'm bound by confidentiality with my tenants, and certainly don't want to violate that. So
Mr. Anthony, this is pretty much what you said to this board, and at least 2 other occasions that you've
Yep.
been here, probably 3 years ago and maybe 6 years ago. And so what's different about this one?
And I know 6 years ago, I don't think we owned it 6 years ago necessarily, but certainly COVID did slow things down. We've had multiple LOIs executed that tenants have backed out of. This tenant's familiar with the market, knows the area. Again, I don't know what to tell you other than I'm at their schedule. I don't make the schedule with retailers. They tell me what the schedule is. So I don't disagree with you. This is similar to what I said, but again, this is a new tenant with a new LOI, and again, they're spending a lot of time and effort. They've had that they didn't have last time. They didn't have their engineers who I've worked with in the past, a national engineering firm from the CEC. They didn't have CEC make about 150 changes to the site plans. So I know they're spending money, right? So usually when a deal's going to happen, they start engaging third parties and engineers, et cetera. So this is the first time that this tenant specific has engaged engineers and third parties to review the site plan and the project itself. So
Okay, so one other question in particular, two. One is the security aspect. Our biggest concern is that the building has been broken into on several occasions. The Act 250 permit condition requires that security be dealt with by you folks and under contract with, I don't know, it was the sheriff's department. And we're getting calls for our police department to respond. So we're edging back to where we were when we asked you folks to come in a while ago and talk about security. So if I could have an update on that, please.
Yeah,
And
yeah, of course.
prevention of break-ins in particular.
Yeah, of course. And again, because Mike's my eyes and ears and has engaged the company, third-party companies and works with my property management. Mike, why don't you step in here and tell them who we engaged and what we're doing and so forth.
Sure. Since, we've last spoken, and kind of last came before you, one of the most important things that we could do was find a local security company to kind of be even more of our eyes and ears on the inside and the outside. So Sensor is our full-time security group. They are on site every day. They're looking at, any soft spots. They're communicating that back to us. Any fixes that need to be made, they make those fixes. They communicate them to us. They have a very big presence up there. Just them kind of riding around has been a great deterrent. They have multiple cameras both inside and outside of the property, which is very important, all linked back to their monitoring station. So again, it's a 90-acre site, 300,000 foot, big spotlight right on something that people want to kind of mess around with and do something. These guys are tough as nails. They know the project. They know every in and out of it. And they're on top of it, as I am, as Joe is. And we kind of work in tandem with Sensor, and they've done a tremendous job of, fighting a real uphill battle here. But we're confident in them, and, we give them the resources that they need, and they've done a tremendous job. So every day is a little bit different, and, we have to meet these kind of challenges, which we've been doing.
The only call I've had was a door, and again, this is probably a couple weeks ago, Mike, but that's the only call I've had in months. There was a door that was broke that was replaced the next day. But again, Mike, if you had a lot of break-ins of recent that I don't know about, again, I just haven't had a lot. And I think the select board, I think what you did is you sent me, if there's police officers that went, I think we paid the bill last time. And again, I don't know that there's a lot of calls, but whatever it is, we're not slacking our responsibilities. So certainly, if there is some, I don't know about it. So Mike, is there anything else other than that door break-in over the last few months?
So there's been some action. I mean, not as much people breaking in, but anytime Sensor is up there and they see action, whether it's a car up there or whether it's something that appears to be
we did have to tow a car, I think recently.
Yep.
That was done. A couple other minor things, but again, nobody broke, no vagrants living in the property, no break-ins, nothing, no 5-alarm type issues.
No issues, nothing structurally, nobody inside, no one living in there, nothing like that. And again, if there's something that happens and Sensor is able to do it and remediate it on site, because they have their team and they have a garage there with all their wood and plywood and everything and all their tools. They need to fix something, they do it right away. So they're good. They've been tremendous assets to us over the course of the last about year and a half of working with them.
So if Sensor can't handle it, and if they need law enforcement, who do they call?
I believe their main contact would be to the state police. I'll have to just figure out exactly what that chain of command would be. For the most part, they are on top of it. They are able to handle it, but I believe that that's their chain right there.
Would you like it to, who should our first call be? Should it be to the state police?
The Act 250 permit requires you to provide that with contract, and it had been the sheriff's department. And the whole point is not to burden the town with policing that area. We do have our chief of police on the call, and we have our constable in the room. That's not Ed. Okay, I think Ed's
Not
coming
sure.
in, but we do have our constable here.
So, yeah, I'd like to hear if Mike has questions or comments for this, but my understanding
And Sharon
was
does as well, so.
if the state police get called, they're forwarding it to the town because they don't have the resources to cover
Right.
it.
So especially during the day when the town's on, state dispatch is gonna dispatch one of our town officers to that call unless it's after hours when town's off, and then the state police would respond to it.
Can they hear
You
you?
might want to come over here.
Yeah,
Okay. And maybe introduce yourselves for these folks.
Good evening. My name is Mike Delahanty. I'm the first constable here in the town. So if Sensor Security was to have something that was above, their abilities and it was some sort of criminal activity, they would call the Vermont State Police, and the dispatcher, if it was during daytime hours, they would dispatch a Rutland Town officer. But if it was after hours when the town police is off duty, then they would dispatch a trooper.
So have the town police been dispatched?
On multiple occasions. And the door that you reference, that door had it. If Sensor is doing their job, or if they're telling you they're up there every day, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be
me too.
quite honest with you. That door that you received those pictures from, I took those photos. That door had been like that for days, and somebody who was just up there, general public, had told me about it, and that we got dispatched to it. And that's how you end up with those photos. But if Sensor was up there every day, you would have got those photos long before I sent them. So I would just check to make sure that they're actually up there every single day, which I'm going to say they're probably not.
No, they're not.
Can you,
There's a lot of activity going on up there on the outside that if there was security presence, probably wouldn't be happening.
can you describe the other activity that's been responded to and dealt with?
Sure. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of drug use, people sleeping in cars. Right now, if I went up there right now, there's probably a 4-door newer Jeep Wrangler that's parked in the woods. It's there every day. I try to make contact with the owner. They never come to the door. The windows they've got those like sunscreens, those reflective things on all the windows. That's on the property. But every single day you go up there at night, there's a lot of activity. If I go up there and I put my blue lights on, they race out of the parking lot. They take off. So there's just a lot of activity. I will say, I think the activity on the interior has slowed down. I think they've done a decent job of trying to secure the building. So I think the activity on the inside slow, but outside in that parking lot, there's riffraff every single day. And if you go up there, you can see just when we do have these snow events, you can see the amount of traffic that's going on up there. You would think it was open for business up there. There's so many tire tracks. So I would just check, Joe and Mike, I would just check with Sensor to make sure that they're actually up there every single day. And I don't think they are, to be honest.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
Sharon
double
Russell.
check that. Thank you. Thank
Mr.
you.
Anthony,
got
my name is Sharon Garofano Russell, and for 40 years, I worked with the homeless and the street people and the veterans. And I'm here to tell you, my contacts, my street people have been in that building, have been up there. So the information you're getting from the security company, like Mike said, if they're up there every day or every evening, I have my doubts. And it's dangerous. It's, and our cops have to go up there. It just seems like we've been put off and put off and put off. It's time to pony up and do something.
Any other select board comments on the policing issue?
My question isn't about that.
Okay, yeah, nor is my next one. So any other?
Likewise, I have questions about the tenancy situation.
Okay, so let's, there are other issues that the select board members would like to address. So let's see, Joe and then Matt.
Okay. Thanks. Joe DiNardo, board member. So my question is regarding the proposed tenants and the use. And do you anticipate Act 250 issues or problems with getting somebody in there? Or will the current Act 250 permit allow you to do what you want to do and rent this or lease this to your individuals. I'm concerned that when that part of it comes up, they may just go scattering into the bushes like Mike says they do when they turn the blue lights on, because Act 250 can be a troublesome thing. So I was wondering if you had any information on that.
Yes, so all the tenants we're working with, yes, they understand Act 250. They've done business in the state of Vermont, so they understand that. And I do, at the very least, we'll need amendments, whether or not they're minor or major amendments, Act 250. Yes, yes, I envision that some Act 250 permits, and I envision that will slow the process down. But all of my tenants understand that it's heck of a lot better than starting from scratch, which could take 7 years or more. So everybody understands that. Everybody understands that. I have a question, or not a question, just some advice from the constable and Sharon. And when we're up there, if somebody's sitting in their car and maybe they're at the Castleton Arena, or maybe they're just sitting in their car, I've seen a lot of dog walkers and walkers, and should I kick them off the property? Probably not, right?
It's property.
It's your property. It's for you to determine that. You
Yeah,
might
no,
want to
I
check
get it.
with your
I
own
get it.
counsel on that.
No, okay, never mind. Thank you anyway.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
mind.
our constable wants to add a little more on that.
So it's private property, so you own it, so that's gonna be on you. I think we're just wanting to let you know the concerns that are happening up there with that property, and
No,
it
I
just being vacant like that. I think it just attracts this activity, and
Yep.
that's one of the reasons why you hire Sensor to be up there, is to try to deter it. So I just think if Sensor was there as much as they say they are, it may slow some of that down. But it's your property, so it's on you to throw them out.
We'll reevaluate Sensor, and tomorrow I'll get on the phone with them and Mike and come up with a better plan, because obviously it's not working. All
right, sir. Matt Getty.
So, Joe, question on the potential projects that you mentioned. Sounds like you hope to be close with an anchor tenant. I'm assuming that anchor tenant would be filling one of the pre-existing anchor spots in the same footprint in this building. Is that the case?
No, so it's on the Sears side. Sears will be demoed and start over.
Okay, and
New
then
building.
is there commitment contingent on any of the lesser retailers or other projects that you mentioned, or are they strictly on their own?
Nope, they don't need co-tenants. No, they're that has not, yes, their commitment's not subject to other tenancies at the property.
And you mentioned the possibility of housing being in the mix. Is that also going to involve a demo and reconstruction or rehab?
Correct.
Is there
And
any of that building that's going to be rehabbed, or is the idea it's all going to be taken down?
We're going to try to keep some of it, but again, at this point, in just the age and the way it was built, and again, it's not going to be an enclosed mall, obviously. But maybe we can use some of the Kmart box, but for the most part, I think a lot of those buildings will be demoed.
Okay.
Joe, back to you. Kurt?
Well, I just want to say that I am excited that hopefully something will be going on with this property. I know we've grilled you pretty hard tonight, but we all want to see something done with that place, and getting it back up to some sort of functional status is really what the end goal is of what we want to see. So I hope that moves along at a good rate.
Thank you.
As you may be aware, there's a real need for housing in the Rutland County area, and all levels of housing. Singles, elders, low income, moderate income. And I'm curious to know if you've been approached, and whether you've been approached by some local housing advocates or housing developers, and whether that's going to be part of the mix that you're talking about. You did touch on housing.
Yeah, we have designs, and we've talked to some developers, people who've developed in the state, mainly in Burlington. So yeah, the answer is yes. And I would 100% open arms if somebody wants to carve out 5 acres, 4 acres, whatever, and do residential. You know, the residential we have over on the old Kmart side and over by more like the field house side, right? Because I think that plays very well to residential. Certainly. So yes, we've talked to a multitude of residential developers, and even have some mock-ups, which I could Mike, we can share those. Again, I know I hate not being able to tell you who my anchors are, but we can certainly send over just some designs. Doesn't mean it's what we're going to build, but your typical, you know, if you've seen what they did in South Burlington and Burlington, you know, with market rate housing apartments, you know, that's, you know, 100 to 200 units is what we were thinking, right? High-end amenities, swimming pools, little mini fitness center, your typical residential component. But certainly if you have somebody in mind or somebody who would like to develop residential, you know, certainly we can, you know, most of what we do is either merchant build for retailers, or we sell parcels for hoteliers and residential and restaurants, right? Again, so a lot of what we do is, you know, a lot of the tenants like to build themselves. So yeah, so if there's somebody you think I'm missing in town who has an appetite for developing residential, 100%. But 100%, I don't think you know, that project should be 100% retail. Again, that's not how things are built today, and that's not what people want. So, and that's not what retailers want.
Well, we do have listening in Lyle Jepson, who might have been in touch with you in the past about redevelopment. And what's you're Cedar now, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So
Hey, Lyle, what's up? How are you, my friend?
Nice to see you on the screen. It's nice to see Michael as well.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't leave Sydney out, but Sydney usually doesn't have her camera on, so this is the first time I've ever seen her.
we also have with us today Barbara Noyes Pulling, who is chair of our town planning commission, and she's also a member or staff of the regional planning commission. So you've got 2 good contacts here as well. And Ed Dumas, our town police chief, just walked in. We've been talking with Joe Anthony and the folks at the mall. So any other questions you might have of us, and frankly, me, I would love to see those sketch plans, just to know what you're thinking, because that would be probably the closest to moving along that we've seen in quite a while. So understanding that they're concepts only, and that you don't have, and we don't need to know who the tenants are, but we really would like to reopen lines of communication here so that we can know what to expect and alert our town staff and our planning commission accordingly.
Understood. And again, I can show you the residential mock-ups that we have. Again, I'm afraid unfortunately, tennis footprints are pretty obvious. So if I send you over the footprint with my anchor, you know, it's going to be on the front page of the newspaper, and everyone's going to know who it is. And then I'm going to violate confidentiality and potentially lose the deal, especially with this retailer. So, but we will shoot over some residential mock-ups that we have on the site.
It would. Okay. Any other questions?
Last thing I'll say, if you went around the room and you guessed 5 different tenants, I'm sure you'd get this tenant right. So again, we all kind of know who I'm going after, who I've been going after for I guess it doesn't seem like 6 years, but maybe it has.
Can you come back in a month and tell us who it is?
Yeah.
How about that?
I hope. And they promised me they're pushing it along. I just talked to them today. I told him I had this meeting. I asked again if I could disclose it, and again, I was given the same answer I get all the time from these guys is no. But I'm hopeful it's soon. I know it will be good news for the region and for the town. I know it will be good news. So
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your efforts to redevelop the property, and thank you also for looking into the security concerns that we've raised. So, and feel free to, if you need any further information from our constable or police department, just reach out to Bill Sweet and he'll be able to help you out. And if you want to come back and chat with us, we meet every other Tuesday and we'd love to hear from you.
okay, excellent, excellent.
All right. If there's,
Thank you.
Joe, do you have any?
No, I was just, if you're done with them.
Okay, I think that's it. So again, thank you. And we'll
Great.
move along to other portions of our business meeting today.
Great. We'll
Thank
sign
you,
off.
guys.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Okay, we are at questions from the floor or public comments. Does anyone wish to, who is not otherwise on the agenda, does anyone wish to address the board or ask questions? Lyle.
I wanna thank Mary for coming to our ad hoc housing working group meetings. There is a group of folks, including the mayor of Rutland and all the logical suspects who are housers, is including a developer, a realtor, a banker. We are all pulling in the same direction, trying to do what Mary was suggesting, which is bring a variety of housing opportunities to the region. As you might expect, it's a little slow. But if you see your legislators, encourage them to vote in favor of Act 250 adjustments that are currently in the legislature. This is the first time that I have felt encouraged that Act 250 might have some changes. It's coming from both three parties, however many parties we have now, it's coming from all the parties.
It is.
Recognize the issue. So I encourage our legislators to support that. And also in that same vein, on February 9th at 8:30 at the Hub Co-works, that's 8:30 in the morning, we have VHFA coming to talk about funding opportunities that are available for small developers of houses. And we have reached out to bankers, realtors, developers, hoping that they will come to that meeting. And it's basically low interest loans, very low interest loans. That you're just not going to be able to get anywhere else. So we're hoping that people will come and hear about that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lyle. This has been really a fascinating group to work from, and there's a ton of information. And we did have a sneak preview of the February 9th meeting when we listened to presentation from Vermont Housing Finance Agency. So if you're interested in generally the topic and how these things get paid for, do I think you can zoom in as well as come in person.
Not this meeting, unfortunately.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's live and in person.
Live and in person, 8:30 Friday the 9th, Hub Co-works.
And it is at the Regional Commission,
It's at the Hub Co-works,
the Hub Co-works,
which is downstairs from the Planning Commission.
which is a cool building anyway. And I think Matt and I are in there every Thursday morning with Rotary. So we know where it is.
Everyone knows it as the former Opera House. So
Yes.
How long did they actually sing opera in there, Lyle?
Sorry?
How long did they actually sing opera in that building? A year or two?
They did have an opera performance in there a year ago, 2 years ago.
Barn Opera from the Brandon area
Yeah.
came down, and the acoustics continue to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you feel like singing and you want to book space. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lyle. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Any other questions from the floor or public comments before we get into the department head reports? If not, Dave Sears, Town Road Commissioner. Do we have him? Okay.
Here,
There he is.
I'm here.
He was out plowing. That was
yeah.
his excuse last select board
That
meeting.
was-
He was out
It
plowing.
was lame, I know, but it was my excuse. I passed Kurt a couple times, so he knows that I was actually out there. And I know that he's there too, so it goes both ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, to kind of get rolling because I missed the last meeting. We had some stuff. I think this happened before the last meeting, but we had that wind and / rainstorm. We had 6 trees in the town come down. So we cleaned those up in conjunction with GMP. It was some of it was kind of a mess. We had to kind of work through them and around them, but we got it. For some reason, I've been doing this for a long time and I've never had a hydraulic controller fall apart in the middle of a snowstorm, but we actually had one that storm, the following storm. So we had a controller go bad on the Western Star. Just in case anybody didn't know, they don't give those away. I was kind of shocked at what they cost, but so we actually fixed that. We got that going again. We did, I believe this was actually prior to the last meeting also, but we put a liquid system on the F550. So now we can pre-treat the salt at the spinner. So we're actually applying hot salt at certain conditions. Everything has to be just right, but that's, so now all 4 of the 5 town trucks, not counting the 350, because that one's headed down the road here shortly. But the 550 and the 3 bigger trucks all have liquid capabilities along with salt. So when we've been able to use it, when the conditions are right, when the temperatures are right and everything, it's really, really, it's working really well. Everybody's really happy with it. In that vein, snow and ice response has been crazy lately, as you're all aware. So just a quick salt and contractor update. So far, we've purchased 1,236 tons of salt. Our budget is getting kind of thin. We've got about a little over $4,300 left in the salt budget. And the contractors are at 23 calls. And it's almost February 1st. But I just watched a long range forecast and they're talking about really nothing until after the 10th for the Northeast. A little bit of stuff down on the coast, but for us, we got a little something on, I forget now, Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, and then from there out, it's about 10 days of nothing here. So we'll take that, and that's where we are.
We won't comment one way or the other. I've learned my lesson. So thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
A request for, actually, this is all department heads and committees that meet with them. Carrie did send around and it was in our packet, about a mid-year report on how we're doing on the various funds, highway, police, general, fire, and so on. So if you could review those with your committees the next time you meet, just to see if we're on track. I noticed that some of them are, overspent already. There are a few things that are overspent. I'm sure there's a logical explanation for most of them, but it would be good to keep on top of that as
Sure.
we're into the second half of the fiscal year.
Okay.
So just a reminder. Thank you.
Did she send that like an email or how did that? I haven't seen it. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, so
We got a hard copy.
she sent it as a hard copy to, well, we got it as a hard copy. She probably sent it as electronically to Bill.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Bill's going to send it around to each of the department heads, so you'll have
Okay.
a chance to go over it.
Perfect.
Ideally, if we could do this is hindsight, right? Or incredible foresight for next year. If we could do something like this in like November, like a third of the year in, and we could maybe project better for budgeting purposes. I think we did pretty well for budgeting purposes, but if we had a little of this information and work through it midterm, we might be able to come a little closer, but I think we're pretty good. Okay, any questions for our road commissioner, Dave Sears? No? Okay, thank you, Dave.
All right.
Happy
Thank you,
plowing.
guys.
All right, Marcia Chaffee, Town Head Lister. Good evening, Marcia.
Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna try to keep my voice going here. It may give out on me. I've been kind of under the weather since last week with a horrible head cold. Thank God we all tested negative for COVID, RSV, and the flu. So it's just a
Okay.
nasty head cold. But anyway, to give you an update.
Rest up and get better.
Well, I'm trying, but the Lister office calls and well, we need to be there. But anyway, and well, the nice thing is I've been able to do some work from home, so that helps very much. But anyway, no, just to give you an update, everything's been filed with the state. The final 411. We will no longer be doing anything in the 2023 as bill that's been locked and loaded. We can no longer do anything in there. The error in omissions for homesteads has been filed, which does not require the select board signature. The only ones that require select board signatures is the one that has affected property values. And the only other thing is, you know, the contract that we sent you a copy of. We did speak with Gail this week, and she was very amenable to a contract. She had no problems, and as soon as the contract is approved, she said to send it along, and she would review it and get back to us.
Okay, so if you look in your packet, this is, I think it's E.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. And there is a draft.
Same one we got the other time.
Yeah, I think so. There is
Yeah,
a
this is the
draft.
same one you would have
4-page.
gotten last 2 weeks ago.
Right. We did, and we got it just then, so we put it off until tonight's meeting to give folks a
Correct.
chance to review it.
Right.
So this was one of the things we requested, and I think this agreement reflects it, is some responsibility about what happens for town records and what it is exactly Gail's company is doing. This is G&K Associates, what they are doing for the amount of money that they are paid.
Correct.
So question for the select board or questions from the select board on this contract? And then generally, how do you want to deal with the contract? Do you want to send it to town council for review? Do you want to approve it? Do you want to make some amendments to it?
We usually review these in executive session. Would that be pertinent for a contract?
For contract negotiations, yes.
I'm just wondering if that's what we want to do before we do anything, and then we can decide whether we need to send it to Kevin or,
I think that's the smartest thing.
I mean, usually
To-
contracts, that's what we usually do.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we can do that, and then we'll have a decision going forward by the end of the meeting, I'm thinking.
okay. So usually we put executive sessions at the end of the meeting. Marcia, do you want Marcia in to discuss, or do we? Because Marcia, I'm not sure how long she's going to hold out with the cold thing.
Well,
Yeah, I don't-
not only that, but between the three of us, Marie actually drafted the contract. with
Okay, and I
input
know-
input from us. So I
Okay,
would
Marie is
really
on the call.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that, if you're gonna have executive session, that we could include Marie in that executive session.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
If she wants to sit in, and if Marcia doesn't feel well, Marcia can,
Yeah,
but I think we should. I mean, I think that's the proper way that we usually do contracts. So we have this. I mean, this is kind of a sole provider, so.
Yeah.
Um,
okay.
But that would be
So
my-
we'll take this up under the executive session at the end. Hopefully, Marie and Marcia, particularly Marie, will be available. And is there anything else?
there.
What? Pardon, Marie?
I was just saying, I will be there.
Okay, thank you.
I'll hang in as long as I can, but I'll hang
I
in there.
understand. I had that same thing and I empathize. It was not a fun head cold
No,
experience.
it's not. It's nasty. And at my age,
is.
you don't bounce back as we usually do.
Yeah, I noticed that about me too. Okay, any other questions unrelated to this particular contract for our listers?
I just wanted to let you know too that we're in the process of sending out the schedules and the inventory sheets to all the business personal property people. So just waiting. Gail is waiting to get the numbers from Marshall and Swift. They usually come in towards the end of January, which isn't a problem because all the paperwork that we send out is usually out by February 15th. So with the three of us working, it should be light work.
Great. I do have a question that was posed to me and I didn't know the answer, but I know you do. Have we received a letter from the state saying we must reappraise?
No, we have not. Not yet.
Okay.
But
we're ripe for it. And I know you were going to work on
yeah,
putting together.
we're considering all of our options at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, if there's nothing else, thank you, Marcia.
You're
We'll
welcome,
come
Mary.
back in the executive session. Feel better.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to our next department head, who is Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief, and I think he is not available today. So Carrie Clark, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Good evening.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi. I have a list of things. I'll try to go fast. First, though, before I start any of my list, Dave, if you're still listening, and this goes for any department head, you were wondering if or what I sent to Bill to then send to the select board for the line items. It's just simply the exact same printout that each department head has in their folder when they code the bills. I just made it a PDF, and when I printed yours off, I sent it to Bill so that the select board can have the same copy. So
Okay.
everybody should have it. And I've been trying to keep on that schedule of every other select board getting the report out there to the members of the select board. So
Yes.
this isn't anything new. So just putting that out there. And
Thank you,
yeah,
Carrie. I know you've been diligent about it. We've been less diligent about asking you questions about it. So we need to up our game too.
As long
And-
as I'm not left out, I'm okay.
no, gosh, I would not do that at all.
I know.
Whatever
Thank
they
you.
see is what you guys see. So I would never do that.
Okay.
And just side note, I have had a conversation with Bill briefly. I will be working on the line items that are in the town report that I apparently neglected to put a number next to. It could be my fault. I don't even remember what I was doing at the time. It was a while ago, so I will double check that now that orders and stuff are done and over with. So Matt, that answers your question a little bit, and I'll be getting that updated.
Thank you.
On to a brief list of stuff. So the 29th of January was the deadline for anyone that wanted to be on the ballot for the positions that are open. And I have the ballot ready to go. I'm just getting it proofread. And by the end of tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I can send that off to the printing company to have our town ballot ready to go. As far as the entire election, I'm giving you kind of a heads up that there's 2 ballots in this March one, meaning our town stuff, which we are all aware of, and then the presidential primary ballot, which is available now. It was brought to my office last week. So there is a choice of Democratic or Republican ballot. Anyone can call and request to have absentee ballots sent to their home if they would like that or would need that. What they do have to do is remember to tell me which one they want me to send along with our town ballot, meaning Democratic or Republican. You're not declaring a party, you're just telling me which ballot you'd like. So that is going on now. We're hoping to have the printed town ballot soon, and then we can start sending out the absentee request that I've already received. So it's all basically timing. And I do have to say that having the pre-town meeting on the 16th, even though the weather was really terrible, the timing worked out perfectly in regard to trying to get all of this stuff done, because it's usually a huge nightmare.
Okay, so note to self, we should aim for mid-month in January from
Yes.
here on in. Okay.
It really is helpful for so many reasons, including the town report too.
Yeah.
Let's see, in front of you, you should have the list of liquor licenses that were available last time, but we tabled them. I need to either approve or disapprove, if that's even a word, on the portal, because I've been waiting. So if you
So
could
this
do that.
is item C under action needed. We have applications from the Maple Angus for a first-class restaurant and bar license. We have 3 applications from Jolly Associates, one for a tobacco substitute, one for tobacco license, and one for second-class license. And I'm looking at the police chief, and have we had any difficulties with any of these applicants? No difficulties. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve these
Second.
4, seconded by Sharon. Discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And all of us get to sign, so.
Somewhere.
Then I'll pass it around.
Great. While you're doing that, I'll just go real quickly with the last few things on my list, so I'm not taking so much time up.
Keep
Is that
going.
okay?
Yep.
So this is more for the public knowledge, for people now that income taxes are going to be due here very soon. This is the time of year that I get a lot of requests for second or third copies of tax bills. I just want to remind people that those copies are available on our website. The button, the link for that is on the homepage, rutlandtown.com. It's on the lower right. It's a light blue button that says property tax bills, and you can search the PDFs and print off just yours. It does not show a state payment, but it does show the important pieces that you'll need for your income taxes.
Great. Good, a good new feature that you've added. So thank you.
Oh, yes. Actually, the other thing is we do have up and running now the direct debit for tax payments. So that form is now available online as well. It's under my page. And if you are interested in getting your tax payments directly taken out of your checking account each time for 3 times a year, you would need to fill out that form and follow the instructions and then bring that form into me and we can set you up. It's a huge, awesome feature and you wouldn't have to remember any due dates anymore. And it's a potential to not be late or delinquent anymore if that happens to be something that happens to you. So take a look, that's huge. And I'm looking forward to signing people up for that. I did put that in a Circle article. It will be going out on a Facebook update and it is online now. So I'm excited about that. You will notice that there's 2 payments for the public safety building in your orders. A smaller payment is coming out of the ARPA fund. We do have, it's very rough estimate, but about $100,000 left in ARPA, which the smaller invoice can come out of, but the larger invoice going to VMS that you have in front of you, as you will remember, the next pool of money that we tap into after ARPA is depleted is the capital improvements that were set aside and allocated for this. So that is why that's coming out of capital improvements, because there is not enough in ARPA any longer.
Okay.
And
Was,
oh, go ahead.
the last one on our 329,858, the end. Okay.
Correct. And then the very last thing that I have is I will put this on the website on our homepage, but next Friday, I believe it's the 9th of February, my office will be closed. I have an obligation and my assistant doesn't work Fridays. So I will have to have the office closed. So I'll put that out there, and I guess I apologize for any inconvenience, but it's sort of something that's needed.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Questions for our town clerk and treasurer? Yeah, you heard, in fact, I mentioned to you that we had gotten bonding authority, kind of we found out about it in a backhanded kind of way, just from bond counsel saying you got to sign some papers. So congratulations and a huge thank you to Carrie for all of the work she did pulling together our bond application for the fire police station. So we're on our way and we'll have a set of documents from bond counsel to sign in late February.
That's good news.
Yeah, very good news. And quick question, we had signed the warning, the select board signed it at the end of the pre-town meeting 2 weeks ago, pending the receipt of any appropriations that may have come in after that. Were there any appropriations that came in after that?
There were none.
Okay, all right. So our signatures stand as of that date. All right.
Correct.
It's gone to the printer too.
Well, that's probably a good thing. then,
Yeah.
that okay.
If you haven't got it by now, you're too late.
That's right.
And
All
that's
right.
all.
Anything else for Carrie?
Good.
All right. Thank you very much, Carrie. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Mike Delahanty, Town First Constable. Good evening, and
Good
thanks
evening,
for
everyone.
your participation earlier too.
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
all folks.
Earlier, I gave you guys some pictures. I love a little show and tell. Just prior to coming to the meeting, probably an hour earlier, I received a call from a town resident on Gleason Road about the property on the corner, which I believe is 118 US Route 4. If you look at these photos, I'll be honest with you, I believe this building's been struck in the last week or so. You can see one of the photos actually shows what looks like probably a dual wheel tire track. So this Deputy Chief Washburn actually showed up as well. This building is severely compromised. You can see in those photos, the corner is weak. I do believe It's 118 US Route 4 LLC or something similar to that, and I believe it's owned by Mr. Ruggiero.
I believe it is.
I have not spoken to him because I literally took these photos and then I came here. So we haven't, and I can ask Chief Dumas here. I have not received, I don't think you've received a call about this.
Looks like somebody.
I'll be honest with you, I live
Somebody
in that
turned it
area
around,
too, and I
Mike,
don't even know
doesn't
how long this has been like this, but it's been like this
Looks like
this week. There's some snow on the cinder blocks there, so it happened obviously the pre-snowstorm.
somebody backed into it.
Yeah.
I do know that Mr. Ruggiero he's been made aware of the unsecured premise previously,
Mhm.
obviously before
Mhm.
this. I did look inside there, and obviously there's just floor joists in there, and you can see right down through the basement level. So if someone was to step in there, they're going down a floor. But besides that, this building, we need to speak with Mr. Ruggiero because this building is now a major problem.
Yes, please.
Seriously compromised.
There
Yep.
is, we have an unsafe building ordinance and the first constable has authority under that. So please proceed.
Yep, I just wanted to, like I said, I would have taken care of it prior to, but like I said, I took these photos and they came here and to show you guys.
I pretty much know what his first step's gonna be. It's gonna have you guys investigate who backed into his building.
Yeah, and I will gladly take the lead on it. because-
Yeah.
And it should be investigated. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there's cameras, the housing authority across street, Little Caesars. I'll find out. I'll see if we can find out who caused the damage, but unfortunately, no matter what, it needs to be dealt with ASAP.
Yeah.
So,
It is now a compromised building.
yep,
So
so I will
If
handle
these
this.
were, I mean, this reminds me of Alice's Restaurant. You know,
Did you stick,
8x10 glossy.
did you stick your head in there?
I did.
I don't know
Okay.
if you'd want to stick your head.
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
The next person that goes to work on it probably better check down the basement first.
Couldn't agree
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
Couldn't agree more.
okay.
So, but besides that,
Speaking
Oh.
of these, there are some other buildings. This is the one that immediately comes to mind, but I think there might be other buildings in town that are unsecured and attractive for folks who might be looking for a place to spend the night. So
I agree.
could you also keep an eye on those?
I definitely will. I'll
Thank you.
I'll make a list and I'll.
Or somebody walking in here trying, thinking they're going for,
And
they
they
might
went
be
for a
out cold, but it
different kind
wouldn't.
of ride.
Yeah, if they went in there at night with no light,
Oh,
it'd be a drop for sure.
well,
So,
it should be secured anyway immediately.
yeah,
so.
yep. No, I'm gonna call Mr. Ruggiero right now. So,
Okay,
and that's it. That's all I got from you.
good. Thank you. Any questions or other issues to bring to the attention of our town first constable? If Mr. Anthony and company need additional information from the police department or the constable, would you make sure he gets it so that he says he's going to follow up with sensor security to make sure that they're doing their job? And it sounds
Sure.
like they may not be, so.
Yep, you know, anything he
And
needs, I'm glad to help.
frankly, you caught the little thing, we did send him a bill at one point
Mhm.
for police services that we provided. So if we've had a number of calls there and you want to rough together a bill, if it's worth it, why don't we just see?
Yeah.
Because that
There's
they
a lot-
are supposed to be providing that and we should not have to.
Yeah, there's a lot of public that they're just curious and they
Yes.
see a vehicle and I'm not, listen, it's his property, right? There's been plenty of illegal activity up there. But yeah, sometimes they call and it's nonsense, right? They see a car and they call the police, right? So some of it's not worth the trip up, but there is plenty of activity up there. And I think he just, like I said, if he's paying sensor, he should be getting the service that comes along with it.
That's
So.
right. That's right. All set with our first constable.
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you
Mike.
very much.
Absolutely.
Ed Dumas, Town Police Chief. Good evening. Nice picture, by the way, on your Zoom.
On my Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That would be my wife.
And the guy standing next to her?
Would be me.
Okay.
If it wasn't, we'd have a problem. So we had a total of 74 calls for service last 2-week period. 18 traffic stops. The grace period before Christmas is gone. us and the state police have been very busy at the south end of the town. Cortina's keeping us really busy. This last week, I know state police had at least 5 or 6 calls there. And I think it has more to do with who's there currently than anything else. Just we have a new group of people.
I should mention, you weren't here when I mentioned at the beginning that Representative Paul Clifford called me and wanted some of the details. Well, he wanted first to know what the Cortina was paying the town monthly. And then I said, but don't forget the other things that we have in there, like the play places for the kids and the space for public service people to. So I said, and so I just ended up sending him our contract. The governor's office is trying to figure out how to deal with potentially another round of funding at a lesser cost. And I said, I got kind of vehement with Paul and said they really need to make sure that the state is watching everything, including criminal background checks when there are kids involved and all of that stuff. So that all got shipped out, and maybe we're going to serve as a bit of a model statewide.
So
We'll
there's
see.
I'm not going to mention names, but there's a group of people at the Cortina right now who one person is allowed to have the voucher. The other people in the family are not allowed to be on the voucher program, but they all came with this one person. So they're taking up 2 rooms under one person's name, even though the other ones aren't allowed to be on the voucher, probably because they have screwed up so bad that they won't allow them to stay anywhere. So now they're living with their relative who is allowed to be on the voucher. And that's one family probably good for, I don't know, 5 or 6 complaints a week from us or the state police. That's just it is at this point in time. Oh, on a better note, we did get the speed signs for the I don't know if they're up yet or not. I'm pretty sure the highway department's been busy for some reason. I don't know why. So, but yeah, when maybe it warms up or not quite so wintry, they may get an opportunity to put those.
So we picked them up.
Where are
from Bill
those
on-
going?
We picked them up.
Thanks, Dave.
From Bill, and we put them all together. And the first day that we have, then everybody isn't calling, telling me about a mailbox or their driveway or some other craziness. We'll go put those up, and then it's just a matter of getting GMP to come turn the power on, and then we're rock and roll.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
That's all I have at this point in time, I guess.
Questions for the chief?
I know that Deputy Chief Washburn asked, I think he emailed you folks for us.
We do need to have a police committee meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that one.
Yes. Okay. Very good.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I have at this point.
Nothing further? Okay, thank you very much, Ed. John Paul Fagnant, Town Health Officer, Public Safety Building Clerk, and Second Constable. Is JP on?
Hi, good evening, folks.
Hi.
Not much to report on the building, and that in and of itself is good news. Things are going along according to schedule. If you've driven by, they're starting to, the different rooms are starting to take shape, and that's pretty exciting to watch. Other than that, I don't have anything to report. I had submitted to the board a request for, see if there would be some funds from the contract down south to cover my vest. I got a little behind on the certification of that vest. I had emailed all of you last week and wanted to ask you if you wanted to do that. Otherwise, I have to deficit spend. I haven't had to do that, but I'll have to deficit spend that item. As you recall, it's in my budget for next year, but the warranty on the vest expired, and so it needed to be replaced now.
Yeah, we did, and I think we added it. Did we put it on the agenda? It is on the desk though. So this is a request to pay for, here it is, Safe Line Defense, to use the Cortina Fund, since JP does quite a bit of the patrolling down there, use the Cortina Fund for the replacement safety vest, $1,234.70 something cents.
Move to
Well,
approve that.
my
Motion's been made.
participation, Mary, my participation hasn't been like a regular presence down there. I'll go down when the whole department goes down and does, like a concentrated effort.
Yeah,
He's got the more dangerous job, picking people one at a time
yeah.
off of Grove Street.
So the motion's been made to approve the use of the Cortina funds for this.
Second.
And seconded.
So the only question I have, I said, would be that we're able to do that within the use of the monies. I mean, it's at our discretion, right?
It's our discretion, and I did hear JP say he does go down there
Right. I mean, it
occasionally.
is, yeah, he's part
So-
of the town's patrol force, so,
Right,
okay.
so
Alright.
I'm okay with that if you folks are okay
I
with
am.
that.
Yep.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
Should just review the balance of the fund when we have our police committee meeting, but.
Yes,
it should
good
be okay.
idea. Yeah,
There should be enough in there to cover that.
well, I'm pretty
Should
sure
be.
there is,
I think
yeah.
The demands are low.
Okay, all in favor of the motion to use Cortina funds for JP's vest, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, okay, motion's unanimous, so yes, please, JP, take it out of the Cortina.
Thank you very much for that support. That's all I have for
Thank you.
tonight.
Okay, any questions for JP?
JP, do you know, I think the next step on the building is the metal panels. Do you know, I talked with Ed briefly, Kurt and I did last week when he was here for this building's work. Mid-February, is that sound right?
It does.
Okay, because I noticed they were putting up wood around the building. So I didn't know if they were gonna temporarily encase that in plastic so they could do some other stuff, or is that, I just guess questions because I drive by there so often. I watch the progress and I was thinking, well, if the metal's coming, why are we putting the wood up? But I'm assuming that's what it's for.
It is. They're hoping to have a pretty much a plastic enclosure so that they can get right to working inside.
Okay, and then they're gonna remove that as they put the wall panels up?
Correct.
Yeah, because that stuff will be in the way. Okay, that's what I kind of thought, but I thought I'd ask. I didn't know if possibly there was some delay in those panels that they felt necessary to enclose the building so they could do some other stuff.
Yeah, no, they were always planning on doing that plastic wrap with the lumber.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay.
A question about the retaining wall versus the slope. Am I correct that that's a decision that's going to be made quite a ways in the future, like in the summer, in the fall?
I think that's a fair estimate of when they will know for certain how they have to take care of that elevation.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
doing earthwork now is,
Yeah, no, I asked because we have a chance to purchase some trees and shrubs if we were going to landscape. But that ends fairly soon. That will be in like April's, but we wouldn't, so don't put an order in now because we don't know which way it's going, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
so, in regards to the building, one of the things that we did discuss, or I did ask Ed Clark when he was here, was the name of the electrical contractor that's going to be doing the electric for the building. And it's JJ Brown.
Okay.
So I was thinking that since he's going to be there, maybe we should approach him and ask him if he'd be interested in running the power from that building down to the pumping station.
Okay.
I did, way on when this started, I brought this up to JP and he talked with Ed, and they have buried a couple of extra conduits in the ground, so we don't have to go back and dig the parking lot up later
Yes.
for that. So if, I don't know how the proper procedure is, if we go through JP to do this, or, because this is not part of the building. This is
It
going to
would
be
be from the
something,
water sewer fund anyway.
probably running the electric. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think so.
It would be a
And so
cost.
I would just be separate from the building operation, but I think it's something that if he's going to be doing it, would be nice for him to be aware it needs to be done, and then he could give us a price.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, we have a contact, so I will talk to the contact and we'll get in touch with him.
Okay.
And I don't think that that's going to, as far as you know, JP, that doesn't violate anything with VMS or anything if we talk to him about that.
No, not at all. They understood that was gonna be separate item from the building.
Okay, and I just think we
Yep,
should
yep.
use the same contractor if he wants to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
The
all right.
the only
on-
reason we involved them, was to make sure we got the conduit placed before the parking lot was done.
Yeah, always good. Always good. Okay,
Yes.
all right. That came up, like I said, the other day.
Okay. Anything else for JP? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah,
You
thanks,
too.
JP.
Barbara Noyes Pulling, Town Planning Commission Chair. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see everyone in person again, you know.
Couple hats to wear again tonight. First of all, with the Town Planning Commission, short update on the solar development on Route
Yes.
7, the Post Road Solar, it's called. The full application is into the state, but there is going to be a delay because of the archaeological historical
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
on site. So there's an MOU now between the developer and VDHP, Division of Historic Preservation. They want to see a plan. They want to see what the mitigation is going to look like and the like. So we'll
So
keep an eye on
I
that.
think we had noticed, or the planning commission had noticed, that some of the area, the solar field was going to go into that area.
Mhm.
So this is as a result of flagging that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, that's a big display too. It grew, it's now over 3 megawatts, so it's.
Do you have this, or should I just pass it to you? It's been sitting on my desk. This is the application.
Oh, sure, bring it.
Copies.
Okay, so
We have two.
Thank you. And the other thing is from the Regional Planning Commission. We are embarking on a new regional plan. It's done every 8 years. This one we have 2 years to work on. We're in the public engagement stage and it's pretty involved. Lots of pop-up events around, community townhouses, town meetings, and other ways to get input on, what the region looks like now and where we want to see it to go. And in addition to those, there's a survey. If I could hand this out.
I
to everyone.
did earlier.
You already-
Everybody got one.
Oh, everybody
Actually,
got one?
I passed it out as your chance to win a fire pit.
That when you were.
So-
Oh, okay. Okay. So here you go.
Everybody got it? Okay.
That's right.
And it's got your favorite QR
Oh.
code too, Mary, which
Yeah, I still haven't figured that one out, but
it's an upgrade from Alice's Restaurants.
thank you. But you
We're still the
remember.
only ones that got those. But yeah, look for the events, the survey, please take it. It's pretty interesting. About 30 questions and we appreciate your input on that.
Can we take it like online and not have to use the QR code?
Yes, there's
Look at
the
that.
online address right there.
Thank you.
So that's
That good.
anyone here? Yeah, I'll work the crowd before I leave. That's all I have.
Okay. Questions or comments or concerns from other select board members? All right. Thanks very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in person so I could give you stuff. All right, Mike Rowe, Town Rec Director. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you? Here, I knew you were kind of hungry and I thought I'd bring you something since this. For me. But that's okay. I'll remember that.
I had one for you, but you
Yeah, you
weren't
gave it
here.
away. Yeah. You
Yeah,
knew I wasn't coming.
I made her give it away.
You knew
Give
I
it
wasn't
away.
coming. You knew I was going to be late. You're the only person I told, and yet you gave it away. But that's okay.
I'm not giving it up.
My heart is not.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it up.
Don't you dare
So,
give it up.
It's okay. Don't give it up. We're
I
good.
haven't touched mine yet. Would you
Nope.
like mine?
Nope. It's just I know where she stands now. We're okay. We're all good. You enjoy them.
Oh, I
I'm
will.
trying to save your
whatever.
health.
We don't need to go any further. So I don't have much. The rink is just Mother Nature is just Mother Nature.
Uncooperative.
I'm very uncooperative. When it's nice and frozen, then it freezes, rains, and snows, and we just can't clear it. So we're still working at it. It might even be over capacity now with all the stuff we have. And the wind took half the parts into the woods, so we had kids fetching that, bringing that back. I don't even know if it's frozen. It's like 10 feet of water in there, but hopefully it'll work for us and we'll figure it out. And we had it shoveled.
The only place in town that is.
Well, Proctor had theirs gone, but they're a little bit more labor of love and diligent, and it's a little bit easier for them over there. I saw that opened up. Basketball's winding down. There's 2 weeks left. We're starting our spring sports meeting. I'll get in touch with Bill as far as our spring sports signups. We're having our K-1-2 basketball camp over vacation. It's not too late for people to sign up for that. We do it right at school. It's been a big hit the past couple of years.
K-1-2 for kindergarten, first and second graders.
For
I bet
basketball.
that's a hoot.
Well, we do it for all of our sports.
Okay.
So like in middle school, in the fall, we do K-1-2 soccer, and all the middle school teams, the middle school soccer teams coach them and run the
Nice.
program.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for years, like years. And so basketball is the same way. The middle school kids will come in and they will help run the program. And then we do it in the spring with T-ball, and the baseball teams will help with that. So it's something we always do, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen during February vacation. Other than that, before you know it, I'll be mowing, and I can't wait for that. I'm very
Stand in
ecstatic
water.
about that. Though I'm really kind of disappointed. I'm afraid to walk the trails as far as what's now across them. So, but usually the patrons are really good to let me know if something has fallen over the big loop. I don't know if you've been on the big loop lately.
Not lately.
But usually I get a text from Marianne Goulet, and she lets me know if a tree has fallen anywhere near the trail, and then I try to take care of it. But yeah, I'm sure we had our fair share of wind damage up there.
Pretty soon you run out of trees, don't you?
Well,
Not
the
up
only
there.
great thing about Mother Nature, she brings back more. So, but yeah.
Every one that comes down, though, it makes the ones that are left more vulnerable.
Yeah, there you go. And we are a big sand pit up there, so not much holding them in place. Other than that, I don't have much. Unless you guys have stuff for me. There's still basketball games to get out and see if you want to get out and see them. Little Sweet's doing a pretty good job out there. He's loving it. He is a dominating person on defense. It's fun to watch him. So yeah.
Thanks,
All
Mike.
right, guys. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Bill Sweet, Town Administrator.
Do I dare eat this candy, Mike? I mean, it looks like there might be some pin marks there. Oh, yeah, right from the bucket.
The basketball team is playing Christ the King tomorrow night, and the last time they played them, it was a aggressive game, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So we are looking forward to tomorrow
And
night's
who
game.
won?
We did.
Oh.
They are undefeated.
And what time is this game?
7:00 at the school.
At
At our school.
At our school.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're
Watch
they're
that after we
undefeated.
go to the other meeting. We go to the
Yeah,
meeting, watch
5th and
the game.
6th. Yeah.
I do that.
It's a lot of
I
fun
don't
to
know when
watch.
I don't know when it was that Berlinstown became a basketball school, but
Boy, oh boy.
apparently it is.
Yeah. I played when I was there. It was great. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I played too, but didn't win as many games.
No, they're doing well. Coach Grimes is very, very good. He's very dedicated to them. So, all right. We got a few things left to go through, but that's all right. So we have the easiest, probably the easiest one is the next thing in the packet is the recommendation from Andrew was that we look at adopting two policies. One is a fraud prevention policy, another one is a disaster recovery policy. The disaster recovery policy is not a quick and easy thing to do. That is not going to be a overnight task. Fraud prevention, however, that is pretty straightforward. This comes straight from VLCT's model policies. I filled in our information where appropriate. Really the only thing that's needed would be two different contact people to put in there. And then if you so choose, it could just be adopted. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's really pretty plain language and pretty sensical. So
The two people to put in there to be board members or?
well, that's up for discussion. So there needs to be
Open for
two.
discussion, yeah.
There needs to be two in case if
One
it's
of
only one
them-
person, and that person's part of the problem, then that's not a good solution. So that's what we would need to decide would be who it would be, who would take the complaint.
Finance committee.
What'd you say?
I said finance committee.
No. So you could do whatever, you could pick. I hate to put more work on the board chair, but unless that's complaints against the board chair and a person of her choosing.
Well,
his or her choosing.
No, then I would be in cahoots with whoever I chose. So I was thinking, if you do select board chair, that it should be maybe also the town treasurer.
Well, the treasurer, I mean,
Yeah, I
is the one that is most likely
Most
to
likely to
be.
be complained about, I suppose.
Obviously not in this case.
Oh,
but
poor Carrie. God.
Theoretically.
Not signaling
Do you
anybody,
want,
but
do you want? Well,
You know how inept I am at, computer stuff. So the chances that I would figure out how to hack and
Well,
steal
my
any money are
my thought
remote,
would be a board, it doesn't specify that it needs to be a town entity specifically. So my thought was maybe like the board chair, maybe the town attorney, or maybe the town auditor, because they are unrelated and would likely be not involved in any, if it's,
would this be a position for the grand juror?
Oh.
What
the grand juror,
we appointed?
We did.
Yeah.
Darren Raleigh. Yeah.
oh yeah, I forgot, yeah.
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 See,
I don't know.
this
I
is
don't-
somebody that would be uninvolved,
Right.
that could get to participate in town government and have a value other than a title.
And this is just who you file the complaint with. It's not not necessarily who does
Right.
investigations, but
Right.
who you
Right.
bring. So that's why it doesn't say it has to be someone like elected official or someone. So we could,
Okay.
that may be an easier thing to.
In a while.
But remember that we would have to then make sure we fill that position every year.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That gives us an incentive to get somebody to do that,
Okay. So what's your pleasure? Town grand juror and,
board chair.
okay.
Board chair.
Make that a motion.
Eric's
Second.
hesitating. He has questions about the
No.
board chair.
No.
You got your check,
You want
didn't
to be
you?
grand juror now?
Yeah, I'm not questioning. No, I don't want to be a jerk.
Okay, somebody made a motion to make the select board chair and the
Joey made the motion, I seconded.
town grand juror as the two people to receive complaints should there be a report of irregularity, I think the ordinance calls it.
Yes.
Okay.
Policy.
Further discussion?
I think there was probably more in Andrew's recommendations than what we have here, but we can get to that after we finish the personnel policies.
Yeah, I think, yes.
One step at a time, right, Mike?
Yeah. Okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we've adopted it. If I could ask Bill to type it up for the next
Yes,
meeting and then
absolutely.
just add in the adoption date and the two officials and we'll take it
Yep.
from there. We'll sign it next meeting.
Yeah.
Or actually, we could even just sign it. Well, no, we'll put it in the packet for
It's fine.
next
Yeah,
meeting. It's
it'll
not that-
it'll be all updated. So it'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
So that's great. So I'll take care of that and I'll have that for the next meeting. And so the next thing in the packet is from the building committee, the proposals for work at town hall regarding the electric vehicle charging station grant. You do have building committee minutes in there as
Right.
well.
So who's reporting from the building committee?
You can talk. I'll let you do it. It's kind of self-explanatory, I guess.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, Bill reached out to some contractors to try to get us some proposals for our EV work and the electrical upgrades, and we got one back from Rob Stubbins' company. And what they're proposing is the upgrades to the building would be in the neighborhood of $39,000. There's some other little bit of work that has to be done, so some carpentry work, but after quite a bit of discussion, Kurt and I came to the conclusion that we should move forward with this. The grant that we're looking for will pay up to 20,000 toward the upgrades. If we get the grant, then great. We're going to have to kick in about 20 or 23,000 for the rest of it, because there's a matching fund of a little bit, but I don't think it's
5%.
5%. So it's not a lot for that. And we'd like to move forward with a grant, regardless if we get the grant or not. These electrical upgrades are required to do the renovations downstairs, and this is step one. So however we do this, I think we should accept this from Stubbins. Some of the equipment that we're going to need is 4 to 6 months out.
Ooh.
So regardless if we get the grant or don't get the grant, we got to do it. So if we commit to this, we're probably looking June, July to have to pay for some of this stuff. We have some money. There will be some money in this current fiscal year budget. There's money in next year's current or fiscal year budget, so we can get this done, but this has to be done regardless. The EV portion is about 48,000, and that's what we're looking for from the state to help with that grant. And then that's a 5% match there again. So we're looking at about $2,500 from 2,500 matching funds for that and whatever this. So it would be in our best interest to try to move forward with this. We do have some pretty good plans for downstairs. We talked with Ed Clark. He was here. We talked about the shower that Mary had mentioned. He said, a couple of looks on the paper, and him and Kurt were talking, we're looking, and we put a wall up here and put a shower in there and it's done. So that's going to be pretty simple.
We drew a square.
Yeah, we made it was an L and now it's a square.
There it is.
So that came out. A little change downstairs where you come
Now,
in.
everybody else gets stuff named after them.
Yeah. You want the shower named after you?
Yeah.
Mary Ashcroft
Shower.
rain room.
So we had a pretty good discussion, but so that's moving along. I think the next step is they're going to be working on coming up with some prices for us, what their estimates for the renovation. And our plan is that this will probably be done in increments.
Yes.
So number one increment is the electrical. So we need to move on that right off. And then we can go into the auxiliary meeting room and the bathrooms. And then probably the last thing that would be done will be the meeting room itself.
Okay.
Because of the way that downstairs is constructed. One, the electrical affects everything, but the others don't really they do a little bit with walls and stuff, but so that'll be our plan. So we'll wait on that. So the recommendation from us is to move forward with this, probably to get some, find out from Stubbins what the actual delivery date on this equipment. We're going to need to commit to it one way or the other, because the downstairs is just, we're at max. We got a 200 amp service in here. It's like, the old things you see in the old movies where they got stuff plugged in. It's not quite that bad, but we're getting there.
It's close.
So they'll be putting in a 400 amp service. One of the big expensive things is the transfer switch has to be changed for the generator to handle the
Right.
new primary service coming from GMP, and that's quite expensive.
Okay.
There's, and then there'll be some upgrades.
So
There-
are you asking for us on part A?
It's pretty much the 38,959. That's their estimate to do the changeover. And our recommendation is that we authorize that expenditure regardless if we get the grant or not.
Okay, and I
It's-
did see down under G that several vendors were contacted to provide proposals. Was that for this or for the E EV?
Yes.
This is for the whole thing.
I was going, I contacted vendors and told them we want, if I had somebody do one part, I wanted them to do both parts because it would, so other people were like, I'll get there, I can get there in like 8 or 12 weeks. Like, I mean, it's just this was the only so far one to come and say, yep, and came out, looked at the site, made a proposal and gave us a top to bottom price.
And they are on our preferred vendor
Okay,
list
good.
as far as electrical contractors.
They've done plenty of work for us in the past. And like Joe said, you know, what the cost for us would not be billed to us. He said until they get
Invoice.
the item shipped to them, then they would look for that. So we're not obligated for any money for a little while. But approving the two proposals would allow me to then take these and go back to the grant program and say, here's our approved, here's our electrical upgrade work, bucket 1, and our EV installation charge, bucket 2, and ask. So it's kind of like a race without seeing the finish line, because when the money's gone, the race is over, but we don't know where the money is. So
Sooner we get our application in, the
Right.
better chance we are of getting this funded.
We do want to spend some of it this fiscal year because there's still some money available.
Yeah, I think we'll have some this year. And then we'll figure out, I'm thinking that some of the funds, so the grant will cover, I'm hoping, we're going to get the grant. So half of our upgrade will be covered and 95% of the EV installation will be covered. That's what we're hoping for.
But either way, we need it.
We need the upgrade to the building.
yeah.
That has to be done.
Yeah.
So that can come out of the our building maintenance fund, or we could take it out of the capital improvement fund if we don't, if we're short. But
Well,
either
that's
way, that,
true, we could.
yeah, that has to be done.
Obviously, if we don't get the grant, we're not gonna go ahead with the EV.
Portion.
charger
Yes,
portion. We're only
yes,
gonna
and that's why that's exactly why I had him do it in two
right.
parts.
But I think the sooner that we authorize Bill to move forward with the grant, the better chance we are to get it.
That's the 38,000.
The 38,000 is the upgrade to the building, and the I think there was Bill included in there. The EV portion is the 48,000,
So
47
you want
something.
both the 38 and the 48 is what you're.
Well, yeah, that we would do that. We can accept these, and then we need to do that in order to move forward with the grant.
Okay.
The building stuff we have to do
Right.
regardless of the grant.
Right.
And it's better to get started on this, because what I'm hoping is as we move through the summer and we see where our finances are, see what our capital improvement fund, we may be able to, once NBF comes up with a plan, the construction plan and some costs, we may be able to put out the bathroom portion of that to bid right off and get that done. And so the idea would be to get as much renovation, if we do it over a couple of years, and maybe we can do this without borrowing money, would be our goal.
So let's do this in two motions.
Okay. The motion
That's
one
okay,
will be to approve the upgrades to the electrical service to the building for the estimated cost of 39,000, I lost it, was right, 39,959.43.
38,959.43.
Is that a motion, Joey?
Yes, that is.
Second.
Second, and the money to come from?
Building maintenance
Okay,
and if needed,
and to apply for a grant.
yeah, we're going to be applying for the grant.
Okay, motion's made and seconded.
Yep.
Discussion.
We beat it to death, but we're good.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll vote yes too. Okay, and the second one,
Would be to accept their I don't know if we're accepting it or whatever, but it's a $47,000 cost for the charging stations. And the bulk of that to be paid for or to be done, provided we get the grant.
Okay, contingent upon
And the grant.
receiving the grant,
Grant,
okay.
yeah.
So again, is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Then I second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to tentatively approve $47,000 for the EV charging station contingent upon receipt of a grant.
And just so for discussion,
Mhm.
when you come to charge a vehicle, there will be a mechanism that you have to pay for the electricity. We're not
Yeah,
donating the electricity. We're just providing the space. And when we talked with the fellow from Stubbins, the contractor he's dealing with that does these, say, they have, so, you go and put your credit card, like it sounded like being going to gas station, put your credit
Pretty
card in,
much, yeah.
it reads it,
Well,
you
that's
fill the
what the
information.
one up at CV is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that's what this will be,
We can set the rate.
We
And
can set
yeah,
the rate.
we can,
All right.
yeah, so in other words, and the other thing that came up, so as long as we're discussing this is, this would be to me, just like water and sewer, there will be an OEM fee. So whatever
Okay.
GMP, if GMP is charging, we'll say, and you got to look at the GMP charges because it's 19.5 cents or 18.5 cents, but then there's some other stuff. So say we're charging, I don't know, 25 cents a kilowatt hour or whatever we charge. But there'll have to be an O&M on this because this will require maintenance.
Mhm.
And so we will need to establish a fund similar to the water sewer once
Okay.
this happens.
All right.
So we're not,
Yep.
it's,
No,
these are,
Makes sense.
it's like becoming, it's an electric station, not a gas station.
Yeah.
But you
So
gotta,
motion's been made to tentatively approve the expenditure of $47,000
Yeah.
contingent upon receipt of grant to defray
about 95%.
95%. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No, passes unanimously.
And
Good,
that's
thanks.
pretty much everything that we discussed that day.
Yep.
There will probably be a 1-day closure of this building. For
Eventually.
for the switch,
Yes.
switch over, but
Yeah.
that'll be.
We will have, that'll be well advertised.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there may even be a possibility, and I don't know how GMP charges, but you might get them to do it on a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You
see.
can ask. For
I
a
know-
municipal building, they just might do it for
We
us.
know some people that work there, so maybe we can pull
We
some
can see if
strings.
we
can
We'll
pull some
see.
strings.
We know some people.
Anyway.
Okay. The next item, in the, I'm
I
sorry.
should, so related to that,
Marty, come on up here.
yeah. Marty Wasserman, Town Emergency Management Director. Marty has, this is partially building committee. Marty has asked that we get the Veterans Memorial Committee together. And we have heard from Dr. Sharnock that he's going to try and pull the committee together to start advising on what can happen out here. And Marty and Mary do the summer landscaping, so they're trying to get that pulled together too.
Well,
So-
that leads me to a couple of things. So I've talked to
Okay.
Dave a couple of times. And I'm asking him for dates. I'm leaving him as running this, but I'm doing everything under him.
Okay.
And soon as we have a date, we're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna call that committee back and decide what to do with the monument. Also, Mary and I are talking about, and I gotta be careful about what I call this, because I can't call it a garden club.
Right.
Because there's the Rutland City Garden Club, but something to that effect. We agreed we're gonna take care of the pump station up by Post Road, as well as the fire station here, as well as out front like we have. And I'd also like some thought ahead of time about the new station, the new fire station, police station. We still have plenty of marble in a pile.
Yeah, we do.
And if there's some areas of that station that could be susceptible to damage from impact, I think we should build another planter. And let's build it before we have a dent.
Yeah. That one's built a little different up there.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said that station's built a little better because most of the occupied portion of the building is in the back. So you got to come out of, it would be me coming out of the hayfield and running into the building.
Well, there's a danger.
But yeah,
So-
but might be nice just to do it to dress the
Harry,
building
you
up.
shouldn't have said that. Jinx
Well,
things.
Yeah, we'll have to
You know,
see, have to
it'll-
see how the rough.
Once they get done with it, but that would be great.
You know,
So-
it'll pretty it up. It'll bring that marble block back and you have some at this station, some at that station.
Yes, that'd be
That
kind of
would be
nice.
nice.
So and you and I have talked briefly, there's also the Master Gardeners organization in the county, which is trying to do a small garden in every town. I'm involved with Master Gardeners. So if that group could get together with your group and do some of these, and eventually, hopefully the pocket park will need some attention, maybe not plantings, but
Want your own, do you want
cleaning
your own little
out.
group? Do you need a name and your own little group, or what do you want?
I don't get all upset about that. I don't. need-
You know, what I would like to see, and
Yeah.
we missed the boat. So
a
I gotta
bunch
wait
of
another
money.
year, is
Okay.
a little pot of money
Yeah.
for
money,
these
yeah.
bring around town.
we do have the selectmen's pot.
Right, but I'd like to see a designated money, you know, we can call it the Rutland Town Horticulture Club, or whatever you want to call it.
Beautification club.
Whatever you want to do, and put some money in there, $3,
Yeah.
$4, $5,000 for plants and offset stuff. I mean, these folks are driving around, they're spending
know.
gas, they're spending
Right.
time. I know you don't need, most of the time you refuse payment for anything you do, which is not in your best interest. But we should be able to have this money because we're getting more buildings, you know, and we got more plannings and we got more stuff. And, you know, something that can be carried on. Once
Yeah.
And
Marty and his wife decide they've had
and
enough, they could
tapping
pass this on to somebody
volunteers,
else.
which is what we've done
Yeah,
in the past too.
So-
So get you guys some help. Yeah, so for next budget
Next
cycle, in
budget.
the meantime,
yeah. In the meantime,
we'll keep
Yeah.
an eye out for,
We'll find something if it's needed.
yeah, I think we probably will.
I just want to ask, as in emergency management respect, is the thought that the downstairs here can be used as a shelter
yes.
if we need to?
But that's a
No.
shelter for people in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This-
not a
this-
homeless shelter.
No. This
Not
is
overnight.
Probably
is-
not an overnight shelter, but it-
Wait a
E.
minute. We
E
got- I
under,
mean, the
act-
one time-
wait.
Yeah.
Because you and I talked about this and I said I'd put it on the agenda. It was on the agenda last meeting during the snowstorm. And it is now back on the agenda to discuss town buildings for warming and or overnight shelters. Now, you raised the issue with me because you got the phone call when Green Mountain Power said, hey, there's some town residents who have lost power. Is there a place where they can go?
Right.
You did a deep dive into the
Boy, did I
difference
make a
between-
mistake.
between the difference between a warming shelter and an overnight shelter. We
Well,
had
it's a
one
shelter, and I
time,
forgot the other term right now, but
gotta
be careful
one
which term you
time
use.
when
But
we
in town.
had the person who had to be evacuated in center Rutland during the flooding. And fortunately, the house was not flooded after the fact,
Right,
but
but
they
she
had a
was
place
there
to stay.
overnight.
Right.
That was
So
an overnight thing.
there are
And
2 times now that we know we've been called upon and asked, is there a service? No, we're not opening a homeless shelter for whoever got that rumor started.
Yeah.
This is just for those 2 kinds of isolated
town
incidences.
residents.
An
I mean,
emergency operations center.
Well, it's emergency evacuation site or temporary evacuation site.
Yeah.
Either or.
And you'd
Um,
have to have volunteers to go in and help.
man,
I would gladly do it.
Thank you.
You know, and I
That's
think we've
something I want to
always,
do. It's another thing I'm planning is to start. I've been talking to different people and thank you. I'll put you on the list of people who would be willing
Mhm.
to work at this.
Okay.
because if you have an overnight shelter, you have to have some type of places for them to sleep, bedding, stuff like that. And you have to have things in a pinch. The fire stations have now that they especially have power and backup, and the same with this one, they've always been considered a temporary either evacuation site or temporary shelter because, you know, till others suitable places, usually a lot of times, like during, what was it, Irene or whatever, the high school was opened up as a Red Cross place where people could go. But
anyone ever contact the Red Cross in situations like that? In the past, when people have had houses burned down with no place to stay, Red Cross got involved.
and usually helps find them a place. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, when Rutland City they
You know,
had,
but
some
as
kind
far
of
as-
flooding, the mission went in and we cooked the meals for the officers.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
for all the police.
as far as allowing either the fire station or here or whatever for a temporary emergency site, I think that's kind of, you know, for town residents has always been kind of an unwritten yes.
Well, the only reason I'm hesitant about saying, you're absolutely correct about the word resident,
Right.
is because as we found out in one situation, the fire departments were very involved in this. Rutland City wound up covering part of Rutland Town, and Rutland Town wound up covering part of Rutland City because of the way roads were flooded.
Yeah.
During Irene. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So-
you have to be open to that. kind of
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, and I was talking to the chief in the city, who's also the emergency management officer there, and Bill and I have been working together, you know, about we may not have to open here so soon. We can, if they open at the city, at the school, then we can send people there, and they're willing.
But if
to
you
take-
can't get them there, you've got to do something with them
I
in the
can't
camp.
get them,
Right.
that's another thing, but
Right.
if we don't have to open a place for one person or two persons, well, there's other places available. I don't want to. This last one at the beginning of January, boy, did I get phone calls, and I learned a lot. Because I was getting calls from all different in the state, from emergency management, different people in different departments, and so it was a good learning lesson, if nothing else for me.
Yeah.
So I learned never to declare that we have a shelter. It's, I'm opening an emergency operations center. And also I'm gonna want to get pre-approved by the state building, you know, that if we do, we have that okay. So this.
Sometimes,
doesn't mean-
Marty, too, you can get cots from the place on Post Road, the Armory on Post Road.
Well, that was something else that I started thinking about and looking into is I don't think any place there's a place to store. And even if you did, let's say we used one of the, what do you call those places in the fire station? two.
Mezzanines.
The mezzanines.
Yeah.
And you store all this stuff up there and then you need it, and then you gotta get it down and you gotta move it. So I'm thinking more a trailer that we can move to the location. So I'm looking at that possibility of getting that kind of equipment in a watertight container that we could store and move. So
Because
that's,
the
that's
school, I guess, the school has always been considered as a long-term evacuation site if you had to. But there's no provisions for overnight stays there. But that's always been, that was part of the reasoning for the generator. If you had to house 100 people, because for whatever, that building, the town would, then you'd have to get the Red Cross and everybody involved to open up an evacuation site. We've never had to do that. Usually because of the way the city is and the way things are, that's where the Red Cross goes.
Yeah, and I spoke with the Red Cross. The Red Cross would say, you know, we open on the one in the city. They're opening that, they're gonna run it.
Right.
And they'll take people from other towns.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So if we haven't had use of it, except for those two little incidents, it's not a big thing, but it would be nice to be prepared
That's
for
all I'm looking
maybe
to
a
do is
handful
try
of
to
people
prepare.
in a couple of different places.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
It used to be a once every several year issue. Now it's a
Seems to be
couple times
more.
a year problem. So.
It is.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other thing I brought up before, and I'm not sure where we stand with this. I don't want you at the fire stations. But what I do want is I want a police representative here. I want a fire representative here. I want the select board here. You gotta have the town treasurer and clerk here. This makes the sense to have as your emergency operations. center.
And it is for right now, but because we're getting the federal grant, the Emergency Operations Center will be at the new public safety building once it's completed.
Entitled.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can doing the way stuff is, provided you still have computer access to the records and whatever you need during a catastrophe, everything could be there.
Okay.
And part of it's
what-
because of
one the
communications
things I
there
was
too.
thinking Here maybe makes more sense. That building, I don't know the layout, so it may make perfect sense eventually. But right now, if the select board had to make a decision, you can go into a room and close the door. There's offices there where emergency management people can be and close the door.
There's room in there, isn't there, Ed, the way it's laid out?
There's actually a room that emergency operations.
It has to be,
Yeah.
because we're getting the money
See,
for
we,
it.
yes, in
Right.
I know technically it's my building.
Well, you know, and the thing with that is if you can be there where the PD is, where the fire is, the radios are, it takes away having to have multiple locations for different radios, and everybody's kind of together. So you can communicate back and forth, and that's a pretty good location up there.
Yeah. Okay,
You know,
so
and we would just, if you needed board representation during an emergency, whether we have to come to this building or go to that building, it's gonna be 6 of one, a half dozen of the other as to how you're gonna be able to get there.
That's right.
And depending on communications, the one thing that's come out of Irene, that is probably the best thing in the world, is the ability to do what we're doing right here.
Yes.
I could be home and be part of that. You could be there, or Ed, or whatever. So that is in that technology and that equipment that we're gearing up for. Downstairs was going to have the same function as this room when we get done. But
Okay, so under action needed, we have discussed the use of town buildings for warming and or.
do we need to make it
Overnight.
official? I mean, it's
I
always,
don't know, and
it's
that's
always
part of
been
the-
kind of, yes.
It's kind of been understood.
Yeah, yeah.
And
in it-
Like that.
Yeah, in an
Just leave it like
emergency.
that?
Yeah.
At this
Okay.
point, just leave it like
All right,
that.
and
If I
if
find
you-
that some reason down the road I have to have it,
Okay,
then I'll bring it up. But right
Dead
now
of
I
winter,
don't.
somebody's been without power for 2 days, their house is froze up, and they need a place till they can find a place to go.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
you know,
right.
obviously the building will have to be somebody from the town there, but it's,
Well, that's
it's
okay.
kind of what you did this summer when you had that situation. You took care of it nicely, very
Yes.
nicely.
All right, so that kind of covers
Yeah.
E. And then we're back to
Yep.
Bill's report.
All right.
Thank you, Marty.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Are we good in emergency management? Is there anything
We
out
are
of town?
excellent. We are excellent.
We're working pretty well together.
Good.
We got things handled. We got things covered pretty well. After the
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
successive
Thank you, Marty.
power outages. Go ahead.
What time is it?
7:30. Same.
On Thursdays.
Yep.
Look at that.
You're welcome. After the successive power outages, I did have Johnson Energy go around and fill up all the generators around town. The schools they ran an entire school day on a generator, and it was
Good.
flawless. So,
Did they have to, or was it?
Oh, no.
planned?
well, they needed to, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was a
That was a Wednesday, I do believe, and power went out about midnight and it
Early.
didn't come on till about 2 in the afternoon
Yeah.
because my brother and my daughter had
Yeah.
no power.
yeah. So the generator came on and did
Good.
it. They didn't miss a beat. So
Good.
so I did have them go around it. That I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen the bill for that yet. So but we'll get it covered. But they some of them definitely ran for a while. So that was but it worked. Everything worked like it should have. So, that was really
So
good.
Did
do
the new
we-
one at the highway garage work?
Yeah, that was running because we had a call and we were able to go in and
Yep.
it was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all, because that power all comes from like Stratton Road.
Yep.
And for some reason, that goes out every storm, every time the wind blows,
Oh.
you lose power up there.
Comes
Comes
up Route 4,
four,
goes
down
in
Post Road, and it ends at the foot of Post Road Hill.
Yep, and it also goes right
Yeah.
up Post Road Extension, up Park Lane. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Which for why that's not fed off
We're-
Route 4
We're
is
just, creek
yeah.
roads, we're fine.
Right, so,
it's fed
so
weird.
that fuel, Billy,
Yep.
where do we take that from?
Generator maintenance.
Generate maintenance. Okay, so to that note, and Dave is gone and I can't ask this, but when the generator was installed at the school or at the highway garage, Dave just went out and got it done. And it was wicked expensive and it exhausted all the funds out of that account.
Yeah.
So I think what we should do, and we can talk with Dave, is take that payment, it's just gonna be some paperwork for Carrie, and pay that out of the highways building maintenance fund, which probably will overspend it, but it will put it was like 9 or 10,000.
Yeah.
Put
Didn't-
that back
did I
in.
See it come through on this one?
No.
No, it was a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was,
All
it was
right.
A while ago that, and that shouldn't come all out of that, generator maintenance. So we
Right,
should take it
it
out of
should
that other.
not.
So,
It should
and
come
I
out
think
of
Dave will
highway.
be okay. 'cause-
Highway's got the surplus.
And
so,
right,
yeah.
and so if he overextends his budget in that one line item,
Okay.
there should be carryover, but we can discuss that with Dave. And I meant to do that though, but I don't know if we've been together since, I don't know if I met with him since we talked about it, but anyway,
Okay.
and that would, because otherwise that other account's going to be well overspent. But
So
anyway,
we'll leave that to highway to tell us when we need to, if at
yeah, I'll
all,
talk with Dave
when
and
we need to
and
approve that.
whether we have to have a
So
committee
back to
meeting. or
Bill,
not.
because we do still have an executive session with a couple of things.
Yep.
We, the grant funding for the Route 7 sidewalk is moving to the next step. We
Okay.
need to select a municipal project manager. The email I gave you in the packet is from the state. There are basically 3 different avenues. We can do an RFP and hire a firm to do it. We could select the Regional Planning Commission to do it, or we have a town representative do it. Their part of the grant funds includes the cost of this person doing this job.
In kind, don't we have to do a match?
There is a match, yeah.
So if we have one of our, for example, Dave Sears, Highway, do that, we can use his time to match the grant.
I believe so. I
think we can.
I think we can.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So they would like to know what direction we would like to go. If we want to use a town person, they do have to, you basically have to apply for the job. And they will say whether or not they'll accept it or not. So there is there's a questionnaire and a resume that has to be submitted if you want to be someone from the town.
Okay, what's your pleasure on this? Does Highway have a recommend for this?
I mean,
This just came in, so they've.
yeah, we haven't even seen it. I mean, I would ask Dave if he wanted that.
The regional planning, it would be Stephanie from the Regional Planning Commission, who we worked with a bunch of times before.
Uh-huh.
And
As a project manager. on it.
as a project manager, the cost is about $42,000, but it's already part of the grant funds. It's already included in that. That's why it's so much grant. So it's not all for construction. It's for this other stuff and
Part
easements
of
and
that
whatnot.
600 and some odd.
But that would be the person who would basically be helping us manage the project.
All right.
Well, maybe we ought to
I think-
go that route.
I think I'd rather have Dave do it or put an RFP out, and then that keeps us more in control of the project.
Right.
Oh, there's
I
that.
agree.
And if
That way.
And if we can offer it as a match, then so much the better.
But I mean, if Dave doesn't want to do it, then,
All
we'll
right,
just put
so
it out.
would you
put it out
folks
to
check
bid.
and see if Dave's okay with doing it? And then,
I can, I mean, I just call him and ask him.
yeah. And then we have to actually vote on who we designate.
Yes.
So we would have to know by next meeting.
Yeah,
we
can
the
do
rest
it.
of
we should know by next meeting.
The man.
Be a
okay.
letter too.
Yeah, there's a few things, depending which way, it's not, that's like the first step in it. It's not the last step in it. There's
Okay.
a few more. So
Is it primarily to oversee the construction?
it's kind of like JP.
Okay,
safety
rather
building.
than
It's a
doing
point
all of
contact.
the input in the gear system for the,
Well, that's the grant funding. We haven't gotten to that. We haven't gotten to that part of that
Okay.
yet. But this is like our clerk of the works for the project.
okay,
It's
that's,
it's
so I
kind
think
of-
that's, if Dave will do it, that makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
because it keeps us
I don't
better
disagree. Yeah,
informed.
absolutely. You got the copies of the map for Dyer Road. It does not have,
I couldn't find a copy that had John Deere. What's the, on
Yeah.
there?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're not on there,
No,
but
but
it
For
does
the
look
adjoining
like,
property
it does,
owner,
I would
where the
imagine
pins
that
are, where the location is,
Yes.
the road is entirely on the Dyer property.
it is.
And that's probably why, when you sent them the letter, nobody came, because they have no involvement.
Yep.
Do we want to discuss that? Where we're gonna do that
That
separately?
is, we can do deliberative session, which means we can discuss it in the open, or we can go into executive session to discuss it. It's up to us.
No need for executive.
I don't see
session.
anything. I mean, if you
Okay.
want, because I would, based on this information, the information that we have gotten from the owners and some input from our road commissioner, after I talked to him about this, I would move that we give up or throw up the Dyer Road property.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Yep.
Okay, I'd like, because this is deliberative and we do have to issue findings about why.
Yep.
We need to do, let's, in our discussion, let's just toss in as many things as we can remember as to why we're giving this up. Okay, so go. Why are we giving this up? It serves no residence or building.
There's no residence or building.
Okay,
We cannot gate the property, the road, being any relation to the town, which allows for illegal dumping and other illegal activities to take place on that premise.
okay. So then the private property owner could gate it, but we cannot.
Right. Once it's a private road, it can be gated.
Okay, this is all when, we're tossing it out, but this has got to go in some
It will,
detail in
yes.
yeah,
Yep.
in the minutes. The cost to the town, as we experienced, can be considerable because there was
Well, we're
a
responsible for any,
camper parked there this summer, and we had an estimated cost of $2,000, $2,500 to remove it.
Yep.
Okay,
We're also, because that's a class 4 road, we're also obligated to maintain things such as culverts and whatnot there on that stretch that benefits
nobody, nothing.
one taxpayer essentially.
okay. Any other reasons? Just trying to think of all of the.
I think those were the bulk of it.
Oh, I would note that the property owner has frontage on Middle Road and quite a bit of frontage and access out on Middle Road, so it doesn't need Dyer Road to connect to anything. Okay.
The other thing that was brought up by the road commissioner, and we talked to that, if any development or anybody was there to do this, manufacturing, whatever, the negotiating that 180-degree right-hand turn off of Middle Road is almost, this is not a good road access to the property. If you can imagine a tractor trailer coming down Middle Road and have to turn 180 degrees to get in or out. It's just, anybody that develops this is not a good intersection in its, so that was one of the other reasons why,
And any development that went in there would have to upgrade the road considerably anyway.
they would, like I said, they would probably not use that intersection because of just the way that is.
Right.
It's just not feasible for day-to-day in and out traffic. One individual with a house out there, this is a long driveway.
Matt had something.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the map correctly and what it was we were reviewing. So this is a little bit hard to read, but it looks to me like this parcel here, line comes all the way down to the bottom,
Okay,
comes up to the west side of Middle Road, and then it's crossing Dyer Road here.
Right, but this is the John Deere dealership, so the pin is right here.
So is this now a separate lot or not?
Yes, that belongs to United Ag and Turf.
So,
Okay.
and they were notified.
They were notified that, so what this delineation is, the right of way. So this is a Route 7 right of way. This is the right of way here for Clarendon, and then where this cross is right here. I'm not sure why they show it going across, but the pin is here and then it runs up. So this land was owned by Dick Smith. and it was sold to Phil Alderman. He put a Kia garage in here, then they sold it to United Ag and Turf. So the property line runs on the east side of Dyer Road up to here. That's it.
So the question originally when that spurred the digging up this map was whether this, once it's thrown up, whether this gets split between the two parcels or
Right,
whether it's all.
right, which would make it more difficult for either the current owner or a new owner to reestablish that as a town road.
Okay, but if this United Ag and Turf is this parcel over here.
Yep.
And they abut the road.
Mhm.
So isn't that the rule that it gets split between the two?
No, because the property line is on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
on-
running down the middle of.
It's
the road.
not down the middle. If it was split, the property line would basically be in the center.
Or if the property lines were on each side of the town right away, the town actually owned the property of the right of way.
Property line.
Split.
Right.
But we just have a right of way to pass over the Dyer property.
Yeah.
This is the way this is.
So you're
this is-
saying this over here is the Dyer property line?
It's
the right-hand
on
side
the
of that,
right-hand
so-
side of the road. Yeah.
You can see
There-
the
there's-
pinpoint.
Right where the N is there's a
This,
pin.
there's
and-
segment L4, L5, and L6.
Yep. And you get some of the
And the line on the other side is just the right of way?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It delineates the right of way. So the road is all on the Dyer property.
We can tell this because these lines are supposed to be different.
Well, this is supposed to be a certified state of Vermont land surveyor, and they seemed to know what they were doing at the time. And when I did talk to Mr. Mandela, he told me that the map did show that the pins were to the right of the road, east side of the road. That was his understanding that they owned the road.
Yeah.
So it makes it less complicated if anybody wanted to reestablish that right away.
We should also note that we were provided with a copy of the survey map from Mr. Mandela done by Robertson Franzoni on May
I actually-
13th,
we actually-
2005. I'm doing this for the record.
Right. This was actually provided to us through the Andy that was there, their
Right,
agent.
okay.
He emailed me,
Okay.
asked me for he texted me, asked me for my email address.
Mhm.
He sent this to me. I forwarded it to Bill
Okay. And then you
and
copied
Bill
it for
printed
the
it for
record.
us. So,
Okay. So we also viewed the survey map that was provided.
Yep.
And have made the finding that the Dyer Road lies within the the Mandela property.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Any other things that would support? I mean, we got quite a few things now, so. If not, all in favor of the motion, which is to throw up Dyer Road as a town road, please say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Aye, it's unanimous.
Right.
Okay. Takes care of
So does
G.
this effectively end, so we would be removing Dyer Road from our list.
From our highway list,
Okay.
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to lose a half a mile of class 4 road.
And whatever, you have to check and see what else we need. We gotta notify these people. We gotta do a written decision.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever we have to do, let's,
Yep, we will do that.
thank you.
Let's see. Yesterday, some updates to the website were done for layout. As we've been adding things, space has been getting a little tighter, so we made some updates to layouts and some pages that look much nicer now. We've added some functions and some features that are just make it a little bit easier to manage. So it's coming along and working better and better. And as we do these things, the search function's getting better and better as we do these things. So we're making that easier. The safety grant through VLCT is available again this year. We've done very well with that over the years. This year is a $5,000 grant with a 50% match. So not quite as lucrative as it's been in years past, but it still is available. So if there are departments that would like to get something for half price, then we'll see what we can do.
What is that again?
VLCT offers a grant to member municipalities for safety things. So we've purchased some fire department gloves. We've purchased camera systems for buildings. It's all things related to being able to reduce claims. So the cameras help reduce claims because we can monitor areas. We bought a sewer inspection camera with it last year. We've purchased tens of thousands of dollars worth of things and received most of it back. So it's a great opportunity, but it's because we're a member of VLCT, we get access to the grant. So
Did I ask before, can we get the police safety vest? Or was that one of the things we couldn't get?
I think it's one of the things you can't get.
Yeah.
But there is a list of yes you can and no you can't, or ask. So we can look at that list and see if we need to. But
I was also able to add onto the hard drive, so it's
Oh, yeah.
longer periods.
Yeah.
It's helped solve a couple murders. Actually.
Good.
Would have-
Cars drove by the front of the PD here.
Yeah.
What about our personnel consultant who should be reducing future claims?
You want to make an argument, I'm all for it. But it just started a couple weeks ago. So but that is again on a first come first served basis. So the town report is done and off to the printer. I heard from them yesterday. It is completely printed. There's a line in the orders there for the check for the postage. So when that gets up to them, they will get mailed out. So they will be out.
You're gonna tell us about the little glitch?
There was a
That's
little glitch. There
that's
was a
up.
little glitch, and I will take the responsibility for that one. We forgot a page, and I forgot a page, and I realized it yesterday morning because I was looking through for something else, talking to someone, and I'm like, that's weird. The page number doesn't match the table of contents. I go, and it's page 7 that's missing.
What was on page 7?
Here we go.
The total town budget.
The
So
total
not
of
a
all
great
of the-
not a great one to miss. Not a great one to miss. So I have sent them the page, so they are going when they always create us a digital copy which goes online. That copy will have it included, and we will obviously print the page to have it for the ones that we have here. So it'll be the printed copies that get mailed home will not have it.
I don't know how many people are gonna miss it.
We'll put something on the website.
I'll put it out there. It's we'll
So
take
I
care of
was doing
Could you just
research
staple it on?
last night. Okay, I was doing research last night for tomorrow night's school board meeting. And I found a town report that the numbers appear to go backwards. The pages are numbered from the high numbers to the low numbers because I was trying to find the school board warning. And I am telling you, want to find something confusing. It's like
that's confusing.
So
So-
these little glitches do occur.
Yeah, they do.
It happens.
Those ones are worth extra at auction.
That's right.
That's right.
It's like the upside down airplane.
Everything else is there. It's
You get
but
remember the year we forgot the date, the year ending?
Yeah.
The 2021, Bill always puts on the cover.
Yeah.
Yes,
Year
that's
ending,
right.
and one year we
It
forgot
wasn't
that.
there, Because he was putting so many other pictures.
That's right. In the room for the day. That's right.
So it's not the end of the world.
So it's missing that page. The rest of the budget sheets, all the budget sheets, everything else.
You know
is
the
there.
most important thing in that budget
The warning.
are the warnings.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is
It's
the school
there.
board warnings there and the town warning. Those are the two things by statute have to be there. And you have
So-
to have those so many days before the election.
I think that,
The rest of it's just information.
wait, do we also put something in the paper as a warning, part of the warning?
We do Carrie puts the warning in the
Right,
paper.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because I saw, and then you can reference the website
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Missing page.
I don't think that we did the tally sheet. I think that's relatively new.
The 4 budgets together and how it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
relatively new.
informational and it's can be critical, but the information for each budget's there. So it's not like
That's right.
you lost something.
I
I mean,
know.
if the warning wasn't there,
Yeah.
Oh,
there'd be
no,
a
the warning's
problem.
there.
we'd be in
So,
trouble.
All right,
So.
does
not-
that skip, the pages skip that number, or the pages all numbered wrong relative to the table?
That's
1 through 6, spot on.
The rest of them,
The rest of them are off by 1 page.
So there's a page 7,
There-
but it's
there-
not the one it's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
it's just,
It's missing.
Yep.
It'll be all right.
all right.
yeah. So
Then I'm having them backwards.
Survive.
it'll,
Now,
it'll,
don't you feel better for having told us? about it?
I realize it, and I'm like, oh my God. And I called Mary from Repro Graphics, and she's like, they're printed. I'm like,
Yeah.
So
Okay, with that.
it's okay.
Okay.
Next year we'll get it.
We'll get it. We'll make a different mistake next year.
Believe it or not, I got an email from the town of Clarendon. They want to know if we would be willing to give them a rate to maintain that section of Coeur d'Alene Road, like we offered them
The first deal?
the first deal.
They gave us the rate.
Are we interested in all in having a conversation with them again?
You know, I am so not interested in this at this point.
I think
I'll
that
defer to the highway.
I was gonna say,
committee.
we can throw together a highway committee meeting quick for next week and try to get this done, to sit down and go over. We got two things. Talk to Dave about the generator stuff and the project manager stuff, and we'll run this by him.
Okay.
I will not be here next week, but I will certainly get it set up
Okay.
for you.
Yeah.
My thought is they already set the rate. It was a very reasonable rate. We'll just throw them back the rate.
I don't, because the rate we pay Mendon, I think is better for the plowing. I don't know, we pay Mendon for plowing.
Yeah, we gotta look that back up.
But whatever. But I think at this point, Dave is gonna say, nope. Because what he told us is he's gonna put his guys through grader school.
Yep.
We're gonna rent a
Yeah.
grader from Windmill, and they're gonna go down there, and they're either gonna make it better or worse, and eventually they'll get it good. And the winter maintenance, I think he's got the winter maintenance covered. They, one of the trucks goes up, they plow it. He comes back, gets the other truck, puts sand on the other truck, they go up and sand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
I
getting
think
done.
they have a good plan right now,
And there is not I don't believe he's had a town resident complaint.
no,
And they're the only ones that matter.
right. And even the ones from Clarendon that were here were saying it's been great this year. So
So we'll run it by him. I'll call Dave tomorrow, see if he can get together. Maybe we'll try to do it this week. He'll be available some morning at 9 o'clock. That's not raining,
well,
snow.
it'd be Friday morning. It'd be Friday. So
Yeah.
What's
It's
your
not
schedule?
looking like Friday.
Not looking like
Friday, I gotta go dig up the side of Route 4, I think.
Okay.
neat.
When are you available?
It'd probably be next week.
Monday?
Sure.
What's Monday? The
12th.
Are you
Or no,
gone?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
fifth.
Fifth. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see. I think I'm available. I'll see if he's available 9 o'clock Monday morning. We'll get this done. And
Okay.
move on. We'll get those other items taken.
All right. Anything else?
The only one thing left.
Mowing bids. All right. Item. What is it? E? Okay.
Am I missing that?
No,
don't
it's
have them.
B as in.
B?
They're sealed bids.
Okay, so
How Could I do
look
it?
at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4,
There's
5. So if
A lot of
you could
interest this year.
Yeah,
scribble,
I'm ready.
you're ready? Okay, the first one. Well, who knows?
They
who
don't
it's
say-
from
don't-
until
don't
I
put their name on
actually
it.
Open it. And did these all meet
They
requirements
all
of
did,
being here
yes.
on time?
Everything was
Okay,
on time.
good. First one is from Intrinsic Property Services. Are they right over here?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for contacting us. Ba-da-ba-da. I've attached your proposal for your review based on the SOW you submitted. If you have any questions, okay. And he did it in sections, so 181 Business Route 4 Town Hall, $1,490. Rutland Town Cemetery, $2,890. 272 McKinley Avenue, 2010. And Center Rutland Fire Station, 2520. That's one. Next.
You got the total on that, Bill?
Yep.
Is it
8910.
Oh dear.
Is this
Okay.
for just lawn mowing for one summer?
This would be, it's a 2-year, so Mary has the thing there, but it's a 2-year contract.
Okay. Is this per year or for the 2 years?
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he
Supposed
says.
to be per year.
Yeah, it should be a per year.
We may have to just bundle these and give them to, I don't know, who would take them?
I'll take them.
Okay.
Yeah, but.
This one, I'm looking at,
Yeah,
Nicholas Capusta. And he's got, starting with Rutland Town Municipal Hall, he's got 3 items: spring cleanup, $60. Mowing, trimming, $50 each times 15 mowings for $750 per year, for a total of $810 per year. That's the town hall.
$810.
Uh-huh. Rutland Town Cemetery, spring cleanup $120 plus mowing, trimmings $100 each for 15, so that's $1,500. Total $1,620. Fire station, so he's a similar format for all of these. Fire station is $810 for the year. That's Business Route 4. McKinley Avenue Fire Station, also $810 for the year.
Be good next year, because ain't gonna be none.
And then
He's gonna earn his money mowing.
information. Okay. You got those okay?
Yep.
Folks who are taking the numbers. Next is Central Vermont Property Management, 41 Sunset Drive, Rutland. Okay, Rutland Town Hall. Oh, he does have 2 different years. 1050 for 2024 and 1125 for 2025.
Huh?
Rutland Town Cemetery, $1,780 for the first year, $1,895 for the next year. Center Rutland Fire Department, $1,040 for 2024, $1,130 for 2025. McKinley Avenue, $124 for 2024. You got it.
Yeah.
And $1,490 for 2025. Okay, and you know, he included the certificate of liability insurance, as did
Intrinsic.
as did Capusta and did Intrinsic. I don't see it from Intrinsic. Okay, next. This is from Braden Clark. Clark's seasonal impact. Okay. And this is by the mow, and there is a certificate of liability insurance. Center Rutland Fire Station, $30 per mow. And no annual. Okay. McKinley Fire Station, $30 per mow. Town Hall and Cemetery, $60 per mow. And the last one. Rutland Town Lawn Mowing. It's like, is it a Gallipo?
I'm not
It's
sure.
like this is a Gallipo.
Okay.
Okay. So there's 2 different,
Oh, okay.
okay, so for the first year, for 2024, mowing town office, $15 per mow. Cemetery, $60 per mow. McKinley Fire Station, $35 per mow. And Center Rutland Fire Station, $35 per mow. And then spring cleanup, town office, it's a set price, town office and / cemetery, $50. McKinley NA under construction and Center Rutland Fire Station, $50. So, okay, then for 2025, mowing, and this is the price per mow, town office, $15, cemetery, $60, McKinley Fire Station, $35, Center Rutland Fire Station, $35. And spring cleanup, set price. Town office and cemetery, $50. McKinley, $50. Center Rutland Fire Station, $50. All prices include light litter pickup. That's Gallipo.
Do you have insurance?
No insurance certificate with it. So what's your pleasure with these?
Connor's doing it now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he took over the contract from Brad Key.
Red Key, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
add those all up?
Well,
Best to your ability.
yeah, but with the ones that don't specify how many times they're gonna do it, we gotta find some common denominator. So
It is so
You use the 50.
compared to
yeah.
what the other one said in terms of number of
Yeah.
times.
15 times, right?
Yeah.
15 for Capusta, 15 for, what's the first one?
Like that, because if they don't
Yes.
have to do it 15 times, are we still paying? for
It's
that?
like the call out thing for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
road.
So if they're doing,
If we pay somebody a yearly contract, we're paying them whether they're marching or fighting anyway.
right. So if you do it
And-
by the time, it might be a little better.
Might, if you have a dry
Intrinsic
summer,
didn't
it'll
say
be
how many
less.
times, they just gave a
They
lump
just,
sum.
right.
I
So
think some of
whatever.
them said like 15 times, right? Is that what?
One did.
Some did, one did, let's see if there's another one that did.
Nobody, just that one said the time. The others
Yeah.
just seems like it's per year.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to add all the.
I'm
numbers
gonna
up.
have to do some.
okay.
We can deal with it next
I
meeting.
like the
Okay,
ones that
so
are
I will
identifying $30 per mow.
provide
$50.
these to Bill, have him do a spreadsheet and give us a
Absolutely.
comparison and
No problem.
also advise on
Some charts
the
and graphs, maybe.
missing-
Do you want,
For
Mary, do you
graphs or
want
pie
the-
charts?
Yeah, you don't need to
you
get that
want the
fancy.
building committee to review
Sketch something
these?
on some paper.
I mean, it does make sense because,
Well, I'm just saying, if we can schedule a meeting for next Monday morning at 9, we'll get through Dave, do the building and make a recommendation.
We'll need to know all the crossover points as to how many mows
right.
before the one.
Yeah.
The only-
Yeah, we did
and when
chart
we
with
make
some
money
lines.
and whether there's a,
I mean, I could do the
Lawn
math pretty
mowers.
quick in my head, so 15 times 15 is 2.25.
well,
And, yeah, you know, I mean,
we're
that's-
gonna, and there's
just need to-
also advise on how we deal with the missing insurance certificate.
yeah.
Because that was part of the bid
Was part of it,
requirement.
yep.
Yeah, okay.
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 That is all I have.
All right, so that takes care of
We can ask for the
the,
insurance certificate.
now what we have left, oh, we have a personnel committee
Meeting.
meeting that we did. And we met. So I will turn it over to Matt Getty.
No action needed. I read that.
We
That's
will,
right.
we will have something for you to consider.
We're working on it.
Yeah,
Any questions?
Since we're coming back.
yeah,
We met with our consultant. We made some progress. We have another meeting scheduled. Hopefully soon we will have uniform revised timesheets for all departments to use. Get everybody on the same work week and
I didn't see the police.
you did, that's right, and we asked about that too. Yeah, I think that was just an omission.
and we are looking at a comp time policy, which we had some things to iron out, and then once we're done with it, we'll bring it to the rest of the board.
Yeah.
Consider.
Yeah,
Those are the highlights.
and the comp time would allow some more flexibility for the way the police department operates. So that's why we wanted to take a look at that.
A little bit the highway, but most of it.
And we started talking about holidays and we get all confused and
So the holiday package, isn't that up to us? Board?
Yes, and,
So-
and she started in the holiday part by setting out what they were that we had already agreed on. So we're not going to change that, but it's how you count how you count the time, whether it's time and a half or straight time, and how do you get it as comp
But,
and that
but
kind of
it's not necessarily on the
We're not
number
gonna
of
change
holidays.
holidays.
Because I think we
Not
have a
unless you
very
tell us
nice
to.
holiday package
I
for our employees.
think we pay people for a lot of holidays. Yep.
Yeah. You know, and of course you get paid, but your job and highway's job it
Mhm.
snows or
Right.
something
Well, there you go.
happens
That's
and you
not-
gotta
We had
go.
an extensive discussion about that
I mean,
too. believe me.
it's nice on print and it looks good on paper, but as soon as winter shows up, it all goes right down the drain.
So that's your personnel committee at
More to
work.
come,
Anytime, you're
more to
welcome.
information. So that's good.
And we have another one coming up. When did we set it for? Monday, the
12th.
12th. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so one item on your desk, and I think also circulated is a,
Do we need to do anything with the last page, the Stitzel thing? Is that any up for
I-
the bond bank?
I think
You already signed to
we
approve it.
signed it in here.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we had already agreed to hire them, so,
Alright, yep.
but I also wanted you to see how they were billing us, so.
Yep.
Okay, letter from Josh Terenzini, former state senator and Rutland Town Chair.
Yep.
And this relates to Evergreen Cemetery, and he was writing to urge us to do our part. Kurt has a report. I also have a brief report, which is this issue has been swirling around for probably 2 or 3 years. Anyway, I met with Howard Burgess to figure out how much of the cemetery was in the town, and the answer is 0. You're correct. When they
Right.
carved Rutland City and Rutland Town apart, they carefully put all of Evergreen Cemetery in the city, which means the municipal statute that says the city has, or a municipality has to step in and help with the cemetery if there are no funds to do so otherwise.
Right.
That applies to the city. I did do, as a private citizen, I did a little, met with the mayor and one of the cemetery commissioners, and this is not Mayor Dungus, it's Mayor Allaire. And, offered some suggestions, talked once with BJ about would they be willing to share records so that they could be posted online and maybe get a little research revenue in for the Evergreen Cemetery, and you folks are nothing came of that. And I will say that at one point I even suggested, go to the old families in town who have people buried there and ask them to make, a one-time donation and build up your pot and do some of the things you want to do. I sent in a check, which was never cashed. So your report.
Yeah, so I discussed it with BJ, the other cemetery commissioner, and obviously as a cemetery commission, we want nothing to do with Evergreen Cemetery that's not in our town. And the state has statutes saying that if a cemetery dissolves, the municipality that it resides within is going to have to can't remember the exact wording, but it's provide basic maintenance, make sure there's no brush over the headstones, make sure that the mowing's done at a certain rate. There's some wording to that. So it's not going to be grown up into a jungle.
And
Abandoned. It will have to be maintained, and the city is going to have to do it. So I guess
The problem.
no, they're just out of money.
Well, they've also indicated that they were close to running out of money, but now this has been they're in the 3rd year,
Yeah.
at least that I've heard about.
So as just something to throw out there, I'm not doing, but as a goodwill gesture from the town, it won't be on this budget, but like for another budget, a sum of money as a appropriation from the town, and let the voters in the town decide if they would come up with a number to contribute to the maintenance and upkeep of that cemetery.
And
That's what I was thinking when this came out. And what, there's 2,000-3,000 voters in the town. Obviously, everybody's probably got somebody there they know that they would like to see that maintained. It appears that the date sounds like that was started right around the Civil War. So there's some history there. And I think that would be a good way to go. I mean, I don't know how much we'd just come up with a number, figure out something and put it in next year's appropriations.
And see if the voters vote
Yeah,
for
and
it.
if they want to do it, and that would be how we as a town, I mean, we have no obligation,
Right.
state statute, but because of what it is and its heritage to the area and it's part of the area, I think that it would be nice on the town's part to contribute something.
I mean, I think the city would do a pretty good job maintaining it.
think
It would,
It's
it
gonna
would be a whack to them, but there's a cemetery on West Street there by well, across from the old Hugh Duffy next to the old
Right.
farmers market, and that's well maintained. And
I mean, I'm doing it as a community gesture, and I think that would be something I'd like to, and I don't know, how does the select board put a appropriation on the ballot? Do we
I
just,
don't know. That's a good question.
so we've got a year to think about it. We can't do anything this year.
We vote to put on our
Would we make,
other ones, but for an appropriation, I don't know if we have to do anything
We
differently.
have a social service appropriation policy.
We do, and it usually involves getting a bunch of signatures. Yeah.
we'd have to get it, even the board, if the board wanted to put it on,
It talks about it from the viewpoint of if they wanted to do it, they get the petition and bring it into us to go on the ballot.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it'd be something from the town as a goodwill gesture toward the
But,
maintenance of that.
I think we're able to, I just don't, I haven't researched it, but we got a little time.
We've got
a
we
year.
got about 11 and a half months.
We put the scholarships on there, so those aren't voter
That's true.
sponsored, so.
That's true. Yeah.
It is gonna be a lot more of a chore than West Street, though. That's a big piece of
That's a big-
property.
There's probably, how big would you say that is? Do you know how many acres?
I can't remember. I looked at the parcel like
15, 20?
I bet you it's more than that. It
Yeah.
goes way up there. but-
Yeah, it goes almost all the way to the back of like, when you're.
It abuts the fire district property.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes way
it's-
out there.
Cause I know there's a bunch of gravestones way down in the back corner. They were all lined up. And every spring, this whole school, 8 grades, march across the road, the state police would stop traffic and we'd go out there and we do a program for those graves that I don't know how, I was pretty young, so I don't know too much. And I've tried to find it a couple of times when I've attended funerals here. And I think I did find where they were.
Yeah, are those the poor man graves?
There's
Over on
2
the back.
rows of them way down in that back. corner.
Yeah, they're over on that back, like
Some-
northwest corner.
Somewhere.
I think those are like the
But we went to
we
the
call 'em
every,
poor man's graves.
Okay.
for 7 years. This whole school went over there and did that every
Wow.
Memorial Day.
Harold's buried with the family way over there. I wonder if he knew it was in the city.
It's a little late now.
It was still,
transplant them.
it was still the town
Seen
when
it
his
done.
family got here.
But anyway, that would be my suggestion if we go that route.
Okay. All
And,
right. So
you know,
kind of,
we can talk about a sum, what we think is appropriate. What would really be nice to know is what their
yeah.
annual operating costs kind of are. And that would help us determine what we wanted to contribute.
I
as a
can
town.
get you that information because the current president of the board is my law partner. so-
Yes, Paul is still.
And,
You know, I mean, it would
Sure
help.
on it, eh?
And I think it's a
Issue-
nice gesture.
Hey, tell her if she finds my check, please don't cash it.
Don't cash it now.
Yeah, because it's over a year old. So
I can't imagine well, she's not the treasurer,
Well,
so
that's-
I don't know what
okay.
happened there, but
That's the thing that kind of, yeah, that's the odd part about that place.
I hope that when this all, that there was no misappropriation of
Well,
funds that caused this problem,
That's
because
the
that
other-
will be really sad.
They probably should, see an audit.
yeah, I think that would probably be wise. Not that there's any
No, but
wrongdoing, but I just
Yeah.
think it's
I mean,
getting a
what you guys
handle
gotta
on the
go through.
finances, I
Yeah.
think would be important. Okay, so we have 2 more things left. One is the business personal property appraisal services. And then if we need any other reason in executive session, and we wanted to go into executive session to talk about that business personal property contract. I don't think we have any other requests because we did the deliberative session on Dyer Road out in the open.
So I
Okay.
move to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the business personal property service agreement for the town of Rutland.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, contract negotiations. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All in favor of the motion, please say, oh, and including Marcia Chaffee and Marie
Marie,
Fagnan,
yep.
our 2 listers.
Yep.
Okay.
Could we have a 2-minute recess?
I think that's excellent. So all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
And we'll take a 2-minute recess before we,
I'll go to board meeting some
okay,
night.
now it's recording.
All right.
So we're out of executive session at 9:16. Is there a motion?
To adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn moved and seconded. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye. Bye.
Opposed? No. Okay, thank you
Thanks.
for a good meeting, folks.
Yeah, actually.